Oh my God, it's my brother. We found you. We found you. Look at us. We've got the same beardsies. We're matchies.
Beardsies?
Yeah, beardsies.
Ah, you've got a beard right now. Yeah,
and
it's
you've
true.
got one too. It looks real good, buddy.
Oh, thanks, man.
Hey,
Had it for years. And
that's
good to see
great.
that you're coming up on the beard team as well.
I'm doing my best to catch up to the beard game. But anyway, Grandmaster Roland Preusser's with me here. International Master Danny Rensch back at it here with the Puzzle Battle World Chess Championship. The quarterfinals will happen today, and this is the bracket that is about to take place. The two matches left on the schedule are the 1 versus 8 seed. That's Robson versus Sevian. And then we have Hikaru Nakamura taking on Hans Niemann, the primetime matchup that I think a lot of people are waiting for. But to start things off, Roland, we've got that guy, Grandmaster Ray Robson, known as the Spicy Caterpillar. I don't know how closely you follow the Puzzle Battles and Puzzle Rush record books, but very likely this guy will go down as maybe one of the best all time when it's all said and done.
Okay. Yeah, to be honest, I was there in the qualifiers, and that was like a pretty traumatic experience for me. So after that, I just totally disregarded the puzzle battle scene more or less.
Okay, so
But yeah, it would be fun to be a commentator, and I'll just this would be for me like a way to get over my traumatic experience and
yeah.
just have fun.
Well, speaking of traumatic experiences, Sam Sevian might be about to have one, as he's about to go down against Robson here. Now, I don't mean go down, meaning the battle's about to go down. I don't know necessarily, obviously, who's going to win. Nobody really does, but I think that we look at this matchup as a difficult one for any human being on the planet. Obviously, Sam Sevian knows what he's up against. We had a great interview with him, Roland, at the end of yesterday's show when he qualified his way into the quarterfinals in dramatic fashion. So if you missed that, Roland, shame on you. It was amazing. He solved the last puzzle as time expired to overtake Daniel Naroditsky. So he earned his way here in dramatic fashion, but we'll see how much trauma he experiences today. So the match is about to begin here in seconds. I believe we will see the quarterfinals of the Puzzle Battle World Championship take off.
All right. So Spicy Caterpillar. That's an interesting name, by the way. That's something that I wouldn't come up with.
I've heard a lot of different things about how that username came up with, and most of them are not appropriate for this show. So what I'm going to do is just say that I think it is a sushi roll you can order in St. Louis at the Sub-Zero sushi restaurant around the chess club. So I believe it's a sushi roll.
It's a sushi roll. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's always fun to have such names in the, Spicy Caterpillar. I mean, that's really creative, It's something I wouldn't come up with, at least.
and just like that, the match is off. It's underway, and we'll get it updated here in a second. But we see those two guys focused in. Don't worry, the boards will update for you in a moment. But there we have it. Rolling along. And okay, where are we at here? I don't know which board is. I believe Spicy Caterpillar on the left there is up by 1.
All right. Mm-hmm.
And the board you're seeing on the left is the one with. There we go.
Oh,
Everything
boy,
is.
These guys are so fast.
Rocking and rolling. Ray's only up by 2 right now, only by 1. This is pretty good for Sevian to stay with him at this point. But where things really separate, Roland, in our experience of watching Robson, is once you get into those mid-30s, early 40s, he doesn't seem to slow down, whereas other people do.
So sorry, I just have to change one of my settings, I think. But okay. Yeah. So what is going on? So yeah, Ray is slightly ahead, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's up by 4 right now. And again,
oh my God, this is so hard to follow.
the issue with this is Sevian is putting together a fantastic rush right now. The problem is it's not good enough. I mean, he's on 31 straight solved correct puzzles. Now 32. but we don't even talk about Mr.
Yeah.
Robson's record because it's the kind that most of us can't compete with. But now, reminder to everyone, the format here, which we'll update you quickly on in between this first battle so that everyone knows exactly how the point system works. But every single puzzle solved matters because the way the scoring system is we have 10 battles, and each round is scored as the number of puzzles solved, the difference between the two solvers. So if at the first round, Ray solves 45 and Sevian solves 40, then Ray's point score is 5 points. So the difference between each player's final score is what counts toward the total number. So every puzzle solved right now is still a fantastic thing to do, regardless of whether you end up able to win. And by the way, look how close they are.
Yeah, they're extremely close. So,
okay,
yeah,
we have
so
our first
when
missed
is the
puzzle there
winner
by
decided?
Robson.
Like, is it over after 10 matches? Because to be honest, I haven't been following this very closely. Although, wait, Ray is actually taking a big lead at the moment, and he is going to win the first puzzle battle with a 5-point difference. So,
And it's over.
Good start for Ray.
The first one is in the books, and here's the format right there for everybody to be aware of. Each matchup will be 10 rounds. So the players that are facing off here, Sevian and Robson, will play each other in a battle 10 times. The points are awarded by the margin of victory between each battle. So as I said, Ray Robson is now up by 5, given that he scored a 47 and Sevian scored a 42. No player can earn more than 10 points. A player can earn no more. There's two ways to say the same thing, right? Sometimes we grammatically choose different words first. A player can earn no more than 10 points in any round during the match. So if you win by 10, 50 to 40, the score you get is 10. If you win by 20, the score you get is 10. Matches tied after 10 rounds will go on to sudden death. Let's show everybody what the sudden death tiebreaker format is. The sudden death tiebreaker is pretty fun because they will basically just throw down until a player wins. So to win a match, you just have to have a higher score than your opponent. You just have to win a puzzle battle. If the players are tied, guess what, Rulin? They keep playing. That's it.
They keep playing. Oh, that could be a long one then, yeah?
I mean, I think it's unlikely we get any more. I mean, frankly, I think heading to a tie is already going to be a fascinating experience. But but getting more than one tie, I bet would be pretty unlikely. Either way, let's bring up the scoreboard and show clearly kind of how that stands. So again, this is the score after round 1: a 47 for Robson. You see right there.
Yep.
A 42 for Sevian leaves us with a 5-point score for Robson. And so think of the scoreboard right there as the thing that really helps you keep track in terms of who's winning. So, Rulin, let's take a quick look at the two critical puzzles that actually let's. What I really want to do is take a look at both puzzles that Robson got wrong. Because to me, anytime Ray Robson misses a puzzle, I mean, it's news, right?
Yeah, obviously. These guys are the best in the world, so if they make a mistake, it should be really rare, yeah. So, yeah, let's take a look at the puzzle. So, which one did he get wrong then?
I think I've got them both pulled up here. 1 second. Yeah, I do. I've got them both pulled up. But let's remind everybody the daily question while we have it in front right now. I'm actually curious what you think about this as a Grandmaster. Do you think there should be titles awarded to puzzle solvers, just like we have ratings and norms for traditional chess titles?
Oh, that would be fun, I think. By rating norms like traditional chess titles. Well, that would be fun, but it's a system that's hard to make, I guess.
Keep giving us the answer. I'm actually being told that it's time to start the next match, and because we're a little bit behind in terms of the overall schedule here with our run-of show, given some technical difficulties we had earlier, we're going to get right to it. So, as they start their round 2 here, Ruland, go ahead and complete your thought there on having titles for puzzlers.
Yeah, well, it's always fun to have like a Grandmaster title, International Master title, stuff like that. But I do think it's kind of a hard system to to implement, because, for example, the rapid and the blitz ratings that are currently underway also do have their slight problems, I think, still. But if that can be done in a good fashion, then I think it would be a big motivator to start being more serious about this puzzle solver thing, which could, of course, grow in the near future because of puzzle battle world championships like this.
All right.
Yeah.
Next round begins here, Roland.
Yeah, I see them working through the first puzzles. So far, so good for both players.
Yeah, and some of the ones they solve here are like, it's really just the luck of the draw. If someone gets one of those tricky ones where it looks like there's an easy solution, but it's something else, right? Something even better.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you really don't see puzzle solvers of this level get anything wrong until they usually get into their mid-20s at least, right?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
So right now, these guys are just kind of rolling. And I always wonder how many of these puzzles they've seen before and how much of it is just traditional, good old-fashioned family fun, pattern recognition. What are your thoughts?
Oh, that's a good question, yeah. So you remember also Kasper Schoppe, who made the world record on Puzzle Rush, yeah, with
Right.
91 or something, but that was completely memorization. So yeah, I definitely think the memorization is a part of this battle. But on the other hand, this is a new. Chess.com recently updated with a new set of puzzles, I think. Yeah, so memorization might not be as big a deal as it was before. And by the way, Ray is taking a big lead at the moment. He is 5 points ahead against Sam at the moment, and still no mistakes for both players. But Ray is just, man, I cannot compare to these players. They are so good.
Nobody compares to these guys, so don't worry about it. You're not alone there. This is where we just marvel at how long their streak can go and talk about the drama of the match, because with a 5-point spread, right now Ray Robson up by 5. As you can see there, the difference between the two scores, everybody, if you're just tuning in. Sevian that's the issue, is you got to not only make pace, you got to get back within striking distance. And right now it's, even with a missed puzzle there from Robson, it doesn't look like Sevian is inching his way any closer.
Yeah, he needs to start taking risks, spend less time on each puzzle, or try at least.
But how do you take risks in puzzle battle? Because the difference between this and a real game where you can play a practical move, a pawn sacrifice, maybe even a piece sacrifice, put some pressure on your opponent. Very difficult to speed up when you're getting puzzles, because you only increase the chance you might get it wrong, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you are behind after let's say the first 20 puzzles, then it's really, really hard to come back from that. Yeah.
Well, Robson doesn't get 50 yet again. It escapes him. He gets the final 2 wrong. I think in terms of taking risk, Ruhlin, I think Robson was trying to push the envelope there and get those last 2 solved as fast as he could. So we'll try to take a look at what the last 3 were that he got wrong, actually in a row. And I don't know that I've ever seen that. Robson getting 3 puzzles wrong in a row. Like, is that a thing?
Is that a thing? You're talking against with someone who has a bad experience with puzzle battles, so I have no idea. But yeah, I did get 3 wrong at some point, and I guess that if you really want to make a push in the last few puzzles, then you can get 3 wrong, in a row. I guess, as you were saying, that he was trying to push for 50 at some point, and he had few seconds left to try and do so. So he just gambled and threw a few answers in the last puzzles. Yeah. So just for reference, what's your score, for example? When we did a puzzle battle, I think, well, you won another.
Well, thanks for bringing that up. I didn't want to remind you of that, but I mean, you don't remember the score that I beat you with? You blocked it out?
Yeah, I blocked it out, I guess. So
a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that when they have those experiences with me. I think I scored 36 or 37, but it wasn't your best. It wasn't your best rush. I'll give it to
No,
you.
of course not. No,
But
but
hey,
my best rush is probably about 40 or something. But
we're moments away from the next one starting anyway. So let's just look at the last puzzle that Robson got wrong here. This position after G5, Black has opened the king and with it the 7th rank. But unfortunately, Robson tries for something not as strong as the obvious rook takes b7. But this is exactly the kind of tactic I'm talking about, right? Like rook takes b7. Yeah. Doesn't that look good at first? But it's not as good because if rook takes, the queen can actually just quickly regain the piece here. Or maybe something different, maybe something better. Oh, if he takes it, the best move is actually queen f4. Wow, you trade queens and then the pawns can't be stopped. Hard to hold that against Robson, but the best move after g5 was queen to c7, and that would have actually solved the puzzle. So this is exactly the type of tactic, Roland, that, again, makes grandmasters nuts, right? Because there is a much better move that probably you find in a real game. In a real game, you probably calculate rook takes b7 and realize there's something better, but hard to do with only a few seconds, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're also, the first 20 puzzles are easier than the last one. So, and those you always try to solve as quickly as possible. So when you've got that motor system still in you, you know, you want to try and solve those as quickly as possible. You could make mistakes later on like this because you are thinking, okay, the puzzles were very easy. It should be you just win a piece or you give mate in one. But when you hit about 40 puzzles, things are getting a lot harder. And but you still might have the one move thing like win a piece or give mating one in your system. So that is how you can make a mistake like that.
Well, I mean, Robert and I've talked a lot about, you know, what the right criteria is of puzzle solving, right? In terms of going through, obviously, checkmate attacks. And so you look at the weak king, you look at back ranks and weak color complexes, the things we've all been kind of trained to recognize, right? And if that's not the case, you move toward whatever it is, undefended pieces, or you recognize something awkward. But what I want to ask you as they blaze through yet another round, and again, we've got about 4,000 of you with us across every platform, so thank you for being here. Is one of the things that we notice is very hard in the awkward puzzles is because it's not a real game. You have the advantage in a puzzle that the position wouldn't be in front of you if there wasn't a tactic, right? But in a real game, you know how your pieces got there. You develop the plan yourself, right? You put them in a position to succeed. And so how do you overcome that? Like, do you have and Robson misses number 26. Don't see that every day. Do you have a plan of how you work through and try not to make obvious mistakes because it wasn't your game?
That's a tough question. I don't know. Yeah, well, if you solve tactics on puzzle battle, you are obviously trying to look for patterns there and things that you want to that you see in like tactics books and stuff like that. So yeah, for example, mating attacks on that, as you said before, and also well, how I look at this is like candidate moves. So for example, the first thing you look at when you search for candidate moves is like things like checks or things where you can take a piece or you can give a check, stuff like that. And I think that if your candidate move skills, you know, like if that's really advanced, then that really helps you in puzzle battle.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, again, I don't know what the right balance is in terms of you know, real game versus like you're saying, the candidates versus puzzle battle. I know that when we see these guys work through it, they're clearly relying on a lot of pattern recognition that comes from real games, right? I mean, it comes from all their studies and how they've worked through things and also how many tactics they've solved before. But I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering myself because I think mistakes are made when I'm looking at a puzzle and I'm trying to go as fast as I can, but that means I don't have the time to do that kind of take stock of the position. Where are all the pieces? How did they get here, right? It's not my game, so I don't know the answer to those things. And just the balance of how to move quickly but still have the right stock is, I think, sometimes hard for these guys. And there we see, again, Robson frustrated. It must be nice, Roland, to get consistently frustrated with scores of 46, 48, and 47.
Yeah, I would be extremely happy if I got 46 once. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, speaking of being extremely happy with 46, Hikaru Nakamura moved on to the quarterfinals when I believe his best rush on Friday was actually a 46. He was still the most dominant player in his particular heat, and obviously we know he's, speaking of balancing over the board, call it real chess with puzzles. Hikaru Nakamura's had a pretty good career as a real quote unquote chess player, right?
Yeah.
A youngster who would love to have as good of a career as Hikaru by the time it's all said and done is Hans Niemann. But what's interesting is with his career kind of just beginning, obviously he's had a pretty good scholastic one through his early teens and beyond. He's probably the favorite when it comes to puzzle battles and the matchup we're about to see. Remind everybody, that matchup starts in about an hour from now. So don't go anywhere, regardless of whether you're just tuning in or making plans for the day. The Puzzle Battle World Championship quarterfinals has only just begun, and Robson's dominating right now.
Yeah, absolutely. 15-0. That's a big margin that he has. So he can relax a little bit, but I think he's not going to do that.
No, I don't think so. I think he's going to go for 50, honestly. And let's show the one puzzle he got wrong on 26, because Roland, he doesn't usually mess up this early, if at all. And this particular puzzle to me was a good one that aligns with the storyline we're talking about, right? When you're calculating quickly, he immediately sees removal of the defender. Obviously, you take on d4, it removes the protection of the rook on e6. The problem is it also does something else, which is opens up the queen to f1 to go get the rook on a1. In this position, he settles on queen f1, thinking, oh, the check must be the right answer because I'm winning the rook. But that fails, obviously, to the fact that the move rook e1 is possible.
Yeah.
So actually, he missed this puzzle by not following through with the more obvious, the more simple tactical pattern, which is that rook takes d4 as a removal of the defender tactic. So how do you explain that? Defend Robson for missing that.
Well, that brings me back to the candidate moves things. The first thing that you look at is checks and things that are the most forcing. So queen f1 is the first move that comes to mind, and only after that you're taking a look at things that you can take, like queen takes e6. So,
but you know what else it is? The psychology of finding a retreating move. Robert talks about that a lot. How hard it is to see rook e1, right? You don't think about pieces going backward optically as quickly as you do going forward. You buy in that at all?
Well, yeah, sort of. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think especially with all the tactics, how do you say, the tactic books and tactics trainers that we've got nowadays, that it's much how do you say, people are more inclined to go forward than to go backwards and to not see defensive stuff like that, like rook e1.
But you know, these kind of puzzles and the way that computers are dishing up how puzzles helping us in terms of the algorithm, able to find and kind of scour through games and pull out these amazing tactics. I think we learned to think a little bit more full board quickly and find these kind of odd spot moves a little bit better than we used to. And these two guys are getting underway here. So if you're Sevian, you're a coach for Sevian here, Roland. What are you telling him during the start of this next one? Although he's for some reason.
Yeah, just I would say something like focus on your own tactics. Don't look at the score. Just try your best. Just focus on your own game. Just
right now he needs to focus on his own screen, because apparently he didn't get the memo that the next battle started. Maybe he's.
Oh really? Oh, that happened to me too. Actually, in the qualifiers, I totally missed that we were starting at some point.
Well, now he's down 15-0. This is a clippable moment right here. I think maybe someone could send Sam a message. You know.
I still think he realized.
Oh, there he goes. He was
at the moment. Yeah.
He was on another screen, and he's like, well, that didn't go well. Now what's funny is I'm going to call it. I think at the end of this rush, the separation is less than 5. Mark my words. Watch that. Let's see.
You mean it's now 21-10, and that will be less than 5?
I think at the end of this, he will get within 5 before the rush is over.
I will take you up on that.
You taking that? You got 5 on it? You want to bet $5?
Yeah, sure.
I'll bet $5 for my prediction that the score is within 5 when it's all said and done.
Wait, why is it now 21 and 17? Oh, did you like arrange that or something?
No, it looks like Ray just is struggling with the answer to this position.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That is weird.
Oh, no, you know what he was doing?
No, he was waiting, I think.
Yeah. It's because Ray Robson is a class act.
Oh,
Will somebody
that's
send him
good.
a gift basket?
Yeah, that is really that he's a gentleman, definitely.
Seriously, what a gentleman move right there. He knew that Sam was struggling with the tech, or he just forgot the battle, and Ray didn't want to win like that. So he waited until they were on equal footing.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But in that case, I think you're going to win the bet at least, so.
I don't even know. I'm like looking for all my... Do I have a Robson emote? Do I have a spicy emote or something?
Like a fan emote?
I need to share my love, the Ray hype. We need something. That was just what a gentleman's move right there. Amazing stuff. Mad respect for Ray Robson for his desire to win the right way there.
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess I was right that it would be within 5.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Oh, classic.
I was thinking, well, then that should be in the bag, but then he was the gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, Sam,
right. You $5.
You owe me $5. You didn't know how it was going to happen. It's shame on you for not realizing what a gentleman Ray Robson is.
Yeah. Shame on me.
Because let's bring up the score here and show where we stand. The tactics that Sam missed in the process of trying to catch up are obviously totally understandable. But talk a little bit more about Ray's gentleman's move there. What are your thoughts on that?
Well,
besides
I wonder
that
if
it costs you $5.
Done that. Yeah, I wonder if he would have done that if he wasn't having such a big lead at the moment.
So that's the question, right? It's easy to be a gentleman when you're almost up by 20.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it could be out of out of comfort, or out of a gentleman.
But anyway,
it was a good decision from him to wait.
Knowing definitely. Ray, honestly, like I'm gonna say he would have done it anyway. Honestly, I think that he's just that kind of player, and I think I'll put it this way: you may be right because he's so confident in his puzzle skills that it doesn't matter regardless of the scoreboard here. But I think Ray would have waited for his opponent regardless, and because of that, he deserves a fruit basket. I'll get someone on that. We'll get him a nice, maybe some wines, some good cheeses.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Does he like the cheese and wine? Is he that kind of guy?
Oh, there we go. Well, he's definitely into apples and oranges and lemons, apparently.
Really?
I handpicked all that fruit myself, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, looks nice. Hey.
There you go. Well, amazing stuff by Robson so far, everyone. Up 17 points in the scoreboard. We're getting set here for the next battle to begin. Should be momentarily. I'll take a moment just to yell out to the chat and just thank you all for being here. Reminder that for those of you who may just be tuning in, we had quite the experience earlier today. The two potential quarterfinal matchups that are being rescheduled, caused by overwhelming demand for Puzzle Battle. All of the fans here, the members who have headed over to Chess.com's Puzzle Battle and tried it, you did it. You crashed the server. Congratulations. And in the process, we have been working pretty hard. Thank you to all of our developers behind the scenes, all the QA team. I know that never fun when things like that happen and can always look like a black eye, but just want to say I'm pretty proud of the team for working super hard to help us recover. And now we're back. We're live. The final 2 semifinal matchups today will take place. Quarterfinals. Obviously, Robson, Sevian, and then we will have Nakamura versus Niemann. So you're tuning in, YouTube, Twitch, Chess TV. We appreciate you being here. And again, apologize to those of you that maybe even came earlier, but happy you're still with us. And no matter what, we're going to have some awesome puzzle battles today. So, all right, next one should be beginning here momentarily.
So can I ask you a question? Like,
yes,
do
sir.
you know what is like the the biggest score that has been achieved in puzzle battle.
I've heard rumors of a 59 by Casper.
Casper, the Dutch young lad?
I've heard rumors of a 59. I did not see it. I have personally experienced a 57 by Jimis 98. I was actually playing against Jimis 98 when he got a 57 against me.
Oh, wow, really?
And I had a good score. I was mid-40s, and he got a 57.
Oh, dear. Well, you got some talent then, Danny. Maybe you should next time participate.
I got lucky.
You beat me as well. So.
No, but Jimis is a puzzle wizard. Maybe that'll be our titles. Instead of regular, I'll be like, you're a puzzle wizard. You're like a puzzle like warlock. Maybe the ultimate prize is being called Gandalf or something. Well, I don't know. We'll think of something.
Necromancer or
Necromancer. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Necromancers, Gimli. Yeah. Getting the whole Lord of the Rings things in there, you know.
Well, Ray is rocking and rolling. I've seen that puzzle before, the captures and the skewer on the D file.
Mm-hmm.
Sam misses his 24th puzzle. It was a little bit of a tricky one. We'll pull it up in case we have time to look at it.
I have another question actually. So what is the average age of the qualifiers at the moment?
That is a stat I was not prepared to answer. The average age of the qualifiers of the people in the final. I think that overall it has to be somewhere in like the mid-20s, because I don't know how old Jimis 98 is, but even our let's say older super GMs like Hikaru, he's what, 31, 32?
Yeah.
And so obviously we know that a young man like Christopher Yu, 14 years old, is going to bring down the average age pretty far. So the point is, a lot of young puzzle solvers, if you're trying to come up with the answer that this is a young man's game to make excuses for your beard, I'll give it to you.
You've got a beard too now, Danny.
Hey, I can hardly grow facial hair. I have the facial hair of a confused Caucasian teenager. Like, does he know he looks like that, or does he not know he looks like that? That's what people think when they look at me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looks good on you, a beard anyway. So, yeah, okay, Ray is once again in the lead. I haven't seen him not in the lead in this matchup.
But not so much here. I mean, he's shaking his head. This has been one of the worst rushes he has. He's shaking his head, a little frustrated with himself, although as I say, the worst rush he's had looks like he's about to crack 40. Yeah, shame on you, Ray. The average age of the competition in this event is 21 years of age. So
21?
Shout out to the team for work. That was about my guess. I said mid-20s at most, and that's kind of what I wanted to say. I wanted to say 22, if I'm totally honest.
All right.
But
I believe you. But 21,
okay, well, we've got the one puzzle that Ray missed that had him shaking his head. And again, if you look at that score of 43-38, increases Ray Robson's lead by 5 points overall in this match. And he missed one puzzle to go with it. After King H6, he played Rook takes H6, Rook takes H7, King G5.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw the follow from there, but the answer is H4, King F4, G3, King G4, and then take the Rook.
With check. That is the thing. It
That's
has to
the
be
key.
with check. Yeah.
So I guess the point is, if you take the Rook at any other time, Black has Rook C1?
Yeah, that is the thing. And if you have G3, then the king can run towards the E file to E5 or E4. So, yeah. These puzzles are not so easy. I mean, you have to calculate a little there. Although in this case, when we come back to once again the candidate moves, these are all checks. So Rook takes H7 makes sense, H4 makes sense, and yeah, you just have to check all the time. So
right.
SPE in this case doesn't go up because Ray didn't get the answer right here. So
right. But that's a good point. So again, for those of you that have really been tuning in for the last several days, first of all, you're awesome. But you know, we've talked a lot about this. How can the viewers learn from this? And what are these guys teaching us, even if they don't know they are? And there's like the hierarchy of the criteria you take in. You quickly try to establish, is there a weak king? If not, you know, what are the awkward pieces? You know, pieces that can be trapped, pieces that are undefended. And then the third thing in terms of move candidate criteria, pretty much not moving on from considering checks until you've considered the checks, right? And I think that seems like a pretty good list for high-level puzzle solving. And you know, again, I always like to pretend I'm asking this for the viewers. Secretly, I'm asking for myself, and so I appreciate you. No, but seriously, I think that's educational just as far as if we were giving like a quick list, improve your puzzle battles, right? Or if someone was maybe clipping this.
Yeah.
It would be recognize and take stock. King safety first, on to undefended pieces, pieces that are loose, pieces that are trapped. Secondly, it would be to, so after the weaknesses, it would be to consider. Wait, why am I blanking out here? What was the criteria again?
I'm also blacking out.
No, I just said, okay, so you quickly take stock of the position, recognizing the weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, considering these candidate moves, right? Not moving on. People are laughing. This is so funny. You and I trying to act like we're writing a book on how to get better at puzzles, and neither one of us knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, what got me confused is that you started with weaknesses, you know, because with candidate moves, weaknesses are of course things that you take a look at, but it's only step 3 or 4 or something.
Oh, that was it. Okay, yeah, that's right. It was weak. At first it's. The reason I said you quickly just establish kind of what you're looking for in a puzzle is because the moment a puzzle appears in front of you, watch, we'll do it, right? We immediately look at the king. That's like the first thing we do. You look at, recognize, is the king, you know, going to be a part of the tactic? Because there are some tactics where actually, we'll see when we get to one, we're like right there, right? It took a little while. It wasn't necessarily the king as a feature, it was a hanging piece. And I think that what I meant by that was quickly taking stock, like when the position is first impressed upon you, of like that last one, right, where Robson wins the knight on e4. You're trying to react to what's available: a weak king, a loose piece, right, a recapture, an undefended, an undefended piece somewhere. And I think that is the first thing you quickly do when a position appears in front of you. The second thing is now we're looking for the moves to take advantage of it, the candidate moves, as you were saying. And the third thing I forgot to say was you really shouldn't move on from considering checks until you've considered all of them, like Robson just got that puzzle wrong that you were talking about. He played queen takes d1 before g3 check, and that's why he got it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you got a good point there. So before you think about moves like checks, you also quickly assess the position. Yeah,
right.
Is the king, can that be checked? Is it weak or something?
And my point is I think that strong players like yourself, I think that grandmasters sometimes forget that is what they're doing. And like other and weaker level chess players, again, I'm really trying to imply that I think there's some things we can learn from this and help people get better. I think that grandmasters are so quickly seeing all of that. When the position is first impressed upon them, they're doing it instantly. It's like reading a language. And so I think that the reason why I think other players understand the hierarchy of checks and then queen attacks and, let's say, tempo moves, right? Pieces are hanging and undefended. I think that people can work through that list, but it's the ability to quickly impress upon, like, what type of tactic this is going to be. It's a weak king. No, it's a transition to the endgame. It's a king upon anyone. I think that sometimes that's done so quickly that it's underestimated that that's what's actually being done in like microseconds before you even consider candidate moves.
Yeah, it's true. It's a step that especially the top players in the world, of course, basically forgot that they know how to do that because it goes so quickly with them. It's like a microsecond that they assess the positions like that.
Right.
That they assess like, okay, there's a weak king. We're putting it into words at the moment, but these are like split seconds that they already have in their minds. Like if they see a position, they already see like, okay, a weak king or okay, a rook, and that's like a microsecond stuff. Hey, he reached 50.
I know. I was letting you finish. I didn't want to interrupt, but he got 51. Oh, no, he didn't. He got 51 even with missing that last puzzle. So he was already at 51. And if we show real quick, I'll show the reason he was frustrated, because I bet on his side of things. If we look at this last puzzle here, I bet on his side of things, Rulin, he had already probably played queen takes d1 like on his web, but it hadn't hit the server in time before the time ran out. So So he gave that kind of frustrated laugh because this would have gotten him 52. The point is, everyone, he had already solved the puzzle. There was no reason he hadn't gotten it other than the physical speed required to play queen takes d1, and he wasn't able to do that before time expired.
Yeah. So actually, talking about physical speed, it is also mouse control. Yeah. It is not just chess abilities; it's also motoristics. You know,
Right.
like try to move your mouse in the right way. People sometimes forget about that.
Yeah.
It's actually just also motor skills. It's not just thinking. It's not just
Right.
just chess skills. It's also computer skills. Like how do you move a mouse? And what setting do you have it? What grip
Right.
do you use? I actually recently I bought myself a new PC, and therefore I also took a look at like what kind of mouse. How can I improve on Puzzle Battle? You know,
Right.
stuff like that, because I was so frustrated with losing against you with JM 98 at the qualifiers.
So, wait,
I
are
think.
you saying that losing a puzzle battle to me pushed you to get a new computer? So I'm the one who helped you hit rock bottom.
Oh yeah, Danny, that's what happened.
No, you stood up and said, "Hi, my name's
some
Rulin. I've hit
glitches.
rock bottom. I lost to Danny Rensch at a puzzle battle." So, well,
Yeah.
just kidding. But speaking of puzzle battles and whether or not this continues to be a craze, I want to remind everybody the daily question. We've been a bit of a rush here, jumping out of the gates as the quarterfinals continue. But we're going to get more thoughts from Rulin, but hopefully some thoughts from all of you. Use social media or not. Honestly, if you are not on Twitter or Facebook or anywhere, I'm going to tell you, don't create an account, because good for you. You are ahead of the curve. You are fighting the direction and the problem on this planet. But for the rest of you who have already given in, like me, go ahead and send us a tweet with the hashtag puzzle battle and let us know your opinion on whether puzzle titles work. Maybe even recommend a puzzle titling system if you want to get your tweet read on air. The best tweet could get a Diamond membership. I saw someone asking me in the Chess TV chat earlier, how do I get a Diamond membership? And I said, well, you tweet something funny. So, Roland, if you want a Diamond membership, you have to go tweet something funny.
Oh, then I will go on Twitter right after this. So.
Okay, good. Anyway, let us know. We'll also check out the chat. I see you, Steffi94, Simo1, Tundra Mike, Mickey Dead Guys. Shout out to the Chess TV chat. Everybody's rocking and rolling. We appreciate you being here, and the Puzzle Battle World Championship rolls on.
Yeah, so I think Sam is actually performing well compared to Ray. He's this match is more or less already over, I guess, because Ray is just totally dominant. Frustrated because he couldn't hit 50, while Sam was struggling, I think, to get to 45 in most of the time. So. But Sam is actually, I heard that he was performing better than yesterday, actually.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good stat to say. I'm glad you caught that from our team working so hard behind the scenes. Thank you guys. But Sam's overall average right now is better than not only what he did in the first heat, but what he did yesterday. So the opening round was the round of 16 on Thursday. On Friday we had the qualifier to create the quarterfinals here, and he I mean, this is a fantastic run. I will never get back-to-back scores of 42. It's just not going to happen this lifetime. Maybe next lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why this is the Puzzle Battle World Championship, right? I mean, only the best of the best can participate there. So if you want to get to scores like that, we need to practice, Danny. We need to practice a lot, and of course have the talent to do this, because these guys are really talented about this, of course. And they're also so young. I mean, I'm still surprised by the 21 mark, you know. But on the other hand, of course, Puzzle Battle is a really recent feature by Chess.com. Only added about 2 years ago. No, maybe even less. Maybe even one year ago or something. So I guess we can ask the team to check that actually when it all started. But yeah, yeah, but I love Puzzle Battle. I mean, it's so much fun, especially for the young guys out there. I remember when Puzzle Rush actually came to Chess.com at some point. Some of my friends were actually saying, "Oh my God, this is so addicting! I can't stop with Puzzle Rush."
Right.
So it's really an amazing extra feature that Chess.com has added. Yeah, good job to Chess.com.
Well, I think we all felt that way. I mean, you know, we knew it was the case when Peter, who played in this event, Peter Svidler played in the round of 16, was talking about it on the Chess.24 broadcast. We knew that was kind of a no-no, but it happened. But no, I mean, obviously it's been a lot of fun. And I think it just combines something that's thrilling about the game for all of us, which is just that, these types of moments where you find a great tactic are kind of the reason we all play chess to a degree, right? I mean, somewhat. And I think that, I mean, okay, we may play for different reasons. And obviously, I'm not saying that a strategic pawn push isn't just as thrilling and outplaying someone, but I think that these types of tactics are innately just enjoyable. And I think that putting them where you could almost like strip down the game to make a competition that's just out of finding your favorite part of chess over and over again, and for whatever reason, it was just like, hey, this is a lot of fun, I also neglected my children when we launched the app at that time, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, and now they're mad at you for even joining the commentary.
I'll pay for the therapy.
So, yeah, I think you and I are more or less the same type of players. We enjoy the tactics in positions. We like crazy stuff that's going on the board. But there are, of course, Karpov-like players out there who enjoy simply grinding out an ending and studying endings in general, stuff like that.
Some of us are like John Bartholomew, who play chess just so we can play dubious openings and grind them out. # Team Scandy.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are all kinds of ways to enjoy chess.
There are all kinds of people out there in the world. Yeah. All kinds of ways to enjoy chess. Okay. Well,
it's true, right?
It's true. It's true. And again, for those who are just tuning in, Ray Robson is obviously putting on quite the show here. He's up 34-0 right now, and the difficulty that Sam Sevian is facing is something that everybody can relate to. So, I don't know what else to say.
Well, I can relate to that because, because actually, Sam is performing really well
admirably. I mean, a 44.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. I achieved 47. I think something like that is my high score, but 44 I've only achieved like 3 times or something. So
yeah,
in my whole puzzle battle career. So yeah, that's not a lot, and he's just consistently doing that more or less. So yeah, unfortunately, he is up against Ray Robson. Otherwise, he would of course.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, this type of score. Let's bring up the full round. The full round score by score view here. I mean, with this type of average that you see, I think that he'd be beating, maybe a couple, at least a few different people in this quarterfinal. I mean, it's a fantastic overall score. You take away that 38, I guess, and obviously the 51 from Robson that's sacred territory, as we call it, right? You asked earlier, what are the highest? Like I said, I think 59 is the best if I'm taking the chat's word for it. I have personally seen a 57 as the best score in Puzzle Battle. Yeah. And Rulin, to touch on you made a comment about, earlier when people were able to memorize and get 100 as Casper did. And I don't know if you knew that, but the version we have now is actually a much wider set of puzzles. So the database has, literally 100,000 plus more, and then combine it with the algorithm being a much more, call it, unbalanced experience at times, which from a practical perspective is not any more difficult, but actually can throw off, I think, and leads to some early kind of swings and misses that you didn't see before, because not only did the variety go up, but the way they're delivered is less predictable. And I think the question yesterday, Rulin, I'll ask you, the question was, what do people think will humanly be possible? Because we're only going to add more puzzles and only going to continue to make the variety probably harder. What do we think is humanly possible for players to get in 3 minutes? I think that 60 will happen, but I wonder how much higher than 60 is possible in 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's a tough question. It's also like you can compare that to what is practically possible for the highest classical rating to be achieved,
Right, like 2900 is 2900 possible.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Carlsen is close to beating that, but people are also wondering, like, is 3,000 possible even ever going? Is that ever going to happen? You know, so
Right.
that's more or less the same question here. Well, there are a few factors, of course, as I said, like how quick are you with the mouse? How quick are you with solving those? How many of those puzzles have you solved? How many can you recognize? But with such a big pool of new puzzles, it is definitely going to be more difficult. So maybe at some point 65 will be possible, you know, just like cars are getting faster and more time speed things are getting how do you say time fast. Wow, I'm having trouble finding the right words there. How fast the car can go, you know, like speed record, you know, that was the word I was looking for, speed
Yep.
record. Yeah.
Well, do
So
you think
but
2900 will happen?
2900 in classical chess, definitely, yeah, that will happen.
Yep. We have players joining in our private call right now for those who see that, and so many people producing this stuff behind the scenes. But there we go. We will get Ray Robson and Sam Sevian back online in a moment. But all right, let's see. You know what I'd really like to see? I'd like to see if Sevian can beat Robson one time, and that's not going to get it done. The 12. But can Sevian beat Robson in a single battle? Right. That's going to be a question.
Yeah, like Sam's top score was 44 and Robson's worst score was 42, I think. So yeah, that could happen, of course, that Sam beats Ray in a single puzzle battle. Oh, and Ray already got one wrong, the
Yep.
king c5 move. Was that c4? Was probably okay. Never mind. Let's focus on this one. Yeah, so far Ray is already ahead, and Sam already has two mistakes. So it doesn't look good for Sam if he wants to win one puzzle battle. Yeah, what do you think is Sam's mindset at the moment? Do you think he is, you know, because he obviously already knows that he is being outclassed by Ray at the moment, but yeah, I think he's just playing for himself at the moment. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, would you? I think he found some motivation to go on. You know, like,
Yeah.
uh,
Well,
yeah,
I mean, he's within distance here.
yeah, he is now. Yeah.
36. All right, here we go. Come on. Ah! Right as I said
Oh
that, the third
no!
strike.
Oh, yeah, and that just when we were saying like, oh, he might win one puzzle battle, you know, and then he's got his worst
Right.
score. When we said that.
Just to correct Lee Chess over there in the chat, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave was not knocked out yesterday. He is still in the quarterfinals, so that is fake news, incorrect. And he did have his match rescheduled this morning because of the puzzle battle ban. We'll call it the Popeye chicken affair of 2020, where you guys, we ran out of chicken. But MVO will be playing again.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're going to show what pairings we still have in store.
Yeah, we
Once
will.
again, to remind everybody. Yeah, so Ray is.
He almost got 50 again. And he almost just dropped an F-bomb, which for those knowing what that is the word face. It is nothing else. He almost said face. Man, it was awkward. But there you go. Ray stumbles in round 8, barely, and only gets a 49. Poor guy. But let's bring up the first puzzle that Sam got wrong, because again, this is the trouble. You're trying to fight back. You want to go as fast as you can, take the risk. You might as well just try to win one round. But unfortunately, that led to this particular puzzle where he gets it wrong, because in this position he played the move bishop takes f3 instead of bishop takes g5. And again, it looks quickly as a removal of the defender. Oh, get rid of the knight and win the bishop. But then there's that full board imprint we were talking about, where you have to spy this, right?
Yes.
And that's what I was asking. That was my point. That again, I know I'm overthinking things. It's my job, I guess, as a commentator for a living. But again, I think that breaking down what's happening in the brain here, it's like if you played a real game, Rudelin, you never miss that because it's your position. You know darn well that you're not castled yet. You know your rook is hanging on A8. And my point is the Grandmaster's like you're trying to imprint the position as fast as possible, so quickly take stock of information in microseconds, then make the candidate moves based on this criteria, this weakness listing of is it a weak king tactic? Is it a piece hanging tactic? That's what I'm saying. And then you make your decision, the candidate from those candidate moves, right? Based on that. And most of the time, I think your advice of always stick with checks since you've considered them works. But this is an example of a no check position. Clearly, it's not going to be a check. You know that you establish that instantly. And you make this blunder. And it's I think that criteria can be helpful for people. But I think it's where you see mistakes made, that kind of thing like that.
Yeah, and also actually long moves like that because the queen is on f3 and is attacking the rook on a8, and that is harder to see. I mean, there is also the factor like if pieces are closer together on the board, then it's easier to see tactics like this.
Right.
But it's like a long move, like
so
queen
if this rook was here, you almost don't miss it.
Yeah, that's my point more or less. Yeah, because you do have to switch your your vision, your field vision towards more or less the other side of the board, which takes some extra time, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're absolutely right there about about the candidate moves and what you take a look at first and quick calculation. It is really hard to train, and of course this is totally different, as you said, also from normal chess where you already played a few moves and you know actually that the rook on a8 is a little unprotected, so you instinctively already know that you should not play bishop takes f3 in a real game.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. You've got anyway, it's interesting, and I think obviously in the end, like what's the point of it all, right? Why does the discussion matter? I think it's just breaking down the elements of what makes an amazing puzzle solver, what leads to rare mistakes when they happen, and I think there is a criteria that people can note and apply to their own games. You know, take stock as quickly as you can, rank your candidate moves based on the weaknesses in the position, but remember, I mean, these pitfalls happen from kind of full board awareness, from spotting those loose pieces like that, and I think you gave a great tip earlier. Maybe that's the most useful tip of the day, which is don't give up on variations that have checks until you've considered those checks, right? And I think that already is really useful as far as getting better at solving puzzles. So we saw a stat, speaking of useful, that if Ray Robson wins this one, he will go over 3,300 at Puzzle Battle. I don't know if that's the first time in history for him, but either way, he's on pace for setting the bar pretty high in terms of a Puzzle Battle rating.
3,300. What's that score about then? Do you know, Danny? Or
sorry, ask that question again.
You said that 33 that he's going to have a score over 3,300.
His rating, yeah.
Oh, his Puzzle Battle rating.
Yeah.
Like this. Okay.
Yeah. No, right now it's 32.99, and I don't know. Maybe somebody else has the stat, but I don't know if this is the first time. Oh no. Okay, so I'm seeing in chat now. Thank you, HT 1992, confirming he has been 3,400 before. So there you go.
Oh, okay. So it's nothing. It's nothing special.
Oh, so 3,300, no big deal. What an idiot, right?
Okay. Right. The I word has been dropped. Okay. Yeah. So okay. This is the last battle that we're having between the two, I think. Yeah. So Ray is once again killing it, and Sam is already behind in 7 points at the moment. So I would like to see Sam getting over 45.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. People looking at the scoreboard are amazed by the 51, as they should be. But yeah, if Sevian, we'll see if Ray can do any more. But if Sevian can get into 45, that'd be great. And as Artak Manukian saying in the Chess TV chat, yeah, no, this is an amazing puzzle battle. This is a pretty good run of 10. You know, by Sevian, but unfortunately going against Robson.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is amazing how they can do this. Yeah. I'm also wondering like how many hours of practice have they actually have they actually been preparing for this match, for this World Championship? I can imagine they have been putting a lot of training, a lot of work in this match actually. So
Yep. Well, we've been given information. We actually know what the highest ever puzzle battle score was. I'm going to tell you that our team worked hard on the research to get this, and somebody has already actually broken 60. So we're gonna show that right after this. So stay on the edge of your seat to guess who.
was it Ray?
Spoiler
Did
alert:
Ray Robson?
you might not be surprised.
Okay. No, well, I'm not. No, Ray is. Well, actually, it is Ray, right?
Oh,
Am I wrong?
I mean, who is Ray? What is Ray?
What is Ray? Oh, deep questions.
Where is Ray? No, okay. All I know is we're seeing their 9th round come to an end here. Another good score from Sevian, rocking a 40. Not the drinkable kind. But there you have it. That screenshot. This was, as we know, the best puzzle battle on record. And apparently now we know a 63 is possible from a good run. So there you have it. That's,
Yeah.
First of all, I don't even know what to say about it. Secondly, I hope it wasn't just Photoshop. I don't actually put it past that that's Photoshop.
It can't. I guess the team checked everything, of course. Yeah.
Fake news.
If it is
I'm actually going to ask the team to pull logs. We'll do it later. Yeah, the server team can do it. They're around today. But I'm actually curious because that was not provided originally, I don't think, by a staff member, and I want to be sure. I'm actually going to look into it because, again, like I love the chat and the chess world, humanity, but I don't trust any of you. Okay, I don't believe it. Until I want to see the log. So we're going to check the server and we'll see if that's the case. What I do want to show here is that the only thing that prevented Ray from probably getting another 50 was this puzzle right here. We see the little red X there that he had, and it really slowed him down. For those who were watching him on camera, he was kind of emotionally thrown off. Yeah, I guess we'll just ask Ray, and he's honest. That's a good point. J. Blexy, or someone said that. Oh, VRSO1. Yeah, we'll ask Ray. But anyway, he missed this tactic, Roland. You want to get the answer to it?
Oh, I don't think I can get it right. So the first thing I'm seeing is like Rook D8 check.
Okay, that's correct.
Smart.
And after King C2?
I guess Queen E3, I want to say.
Trust your instincts. Yeah. Trust your instincts. You're correct.
F takes.
Yeah, and so you were right. And actually, Ray did not get this puzzle. He didn't get Rook D8 and Queen E3.
Well, the thing that I was struggling with was that after Rook D8, King C2, Queen E3, I was thinking White has a repetition with Queen H8, Queen F6.
Yep.
But you have Bishop F8 as a defensive move.
That's the thing, right? Yeah.
So
Bishop F8, and there's no perpetual.
Puzzles are not easy to see in 5 seconds or something. So.
Yeah, so the main point of Queen E3 is you're not only threatening to go into D2, so if a rook tried to stop it, you're also threatening to just win the bishop on E2. And so no way to properly deal with all the black's threats. And again, this is a puzzle that was missed because of, I would call it a retreating move or a long-range move, right? The optics of the position, harder to take in quickly, and I think these moves are sometimes missed more often than other types of tactics, right? And Bishop F8.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think I can add to that because we talked about in the candidate moves about checks being the things that you check first, right? And after checks, you're going to take a look at things that can be taken, and after that, you're going to look at weaknesses, things that you can attack. But defensive moves are way down the list, I think, as well. I mean, that is probably one of the last things you're going to see, unless you are extremely experienced in forced calculation moves. Because after Queen H8, yeah, you do have a move like bishop f8 as well, and but because it's also a long move, as you said, like the bishop has to retreat, you are covering like uh
Yep.
yeah, 6 files from the board, because the queen on h8 to the c file, more or less. So that is a big range of the board.
Yeah.
um
Good point. And you know, we'll continue to see if some of those tougher finds, retreating moves, and like Rilland said, the long range ones end up throwing off and maybe making a difference in a slightly closer battle ahead. And that's not to disparage Sam Sevian in any way. He's had an amazing run
yeah.
of 9 rounds, but obviously the margin here by Ray is more than a fantastic puzzle rush. 52 is just awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually curious, like, what type of mistakes occur the most with these top level puzzle battle players? Like, is it actually defensive moves, or is it
That's a
actually...
great question. I wish we could pull some sort of log on that. So yeah, I mean, if from that last puzzle that Ray missed bishop f8, you wonder if I had to guess, I would say yes, right? If we really pulled a log overall, but I think that's a hard thing to measure.
Yeah, we have to get some work being done on that.
We probably don't
more
pay
or
our
less.
developers enough to do that. So
But yeah, it would add another dimension if you can like get training on that. Like if you want to become world puzzle battle champion, then
right.
you need to be good at long range moves and also at making quick defensive moves. So that
Yep.
would add another dimension to this, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. And I think that a combination of, like you said, it's the board impression, long range pieces hanging, defensive moves, retreating moves, right? even if they're not defensive, just retreating, like physically moving a piece backward. Yeah. And the Naka sighting is real. A wild Nakamura in the wild. Observe the Nakamura in his natural habitat.
Oh, I saw that one actually.
Yeah. If you look closely now, let's sneak up on. Don't spook the natural Nakamura.
Don't stir the national like okay, never mind.
Protected by his
I
red
can't
wolves.
I can't do it like you do.
Nakamura feels safe at home. All right, 48. Can we get another 50? Let's do it, Ray. Bring the party to a close. Bring the party to a close. I got 5 on it.
I think he's going to get it. Boom. As well. Yeah.
Okay, could he put up his best score we've seen so far in the entire event? He's had 51 before.
Will he get 52?
No.
He will not.
No, he's not going to do it. Is he?
What is
the answer was, could you want it? Yes. It takes. Okay, he's got 51. Get 52. Make the move. Oh, he did it.
He did it.
He did it.
Oh, he did it. How did he do that?
He made the move.
The last one was in a split second.
He made the move. The last one in a split second. Oh wait. Oh no, the screen was updating. The screen was updating a puzzle late. This one here, that one that he solved with the queen on queen action over there, with the pawns close to the king. That was actually his 50-second puzzle. And so we'll bring it up and show it. So this was it right here. This was the record set for those keeping track of the best puzzle rush, the best single rush so far in our first ever Puzzle Battle World Championship. This was it. You just saw it. Let's clip it, right? Let's get a video going. This was it. 52. The combo was King H6, which threatens G5 checkmate.
Yeah, I remember this one actually. I solved this one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And after G4...
I remember Queen G1, and then I was super surprised that the computer said Queen E3 over there.
Right.
But yeah, it is the best move because it stops G5 check at least for one more move, yeah?
Yeah. But what's interesting is I guess the Queen G1 that had him stalled is because you mentioned the psychology of a defensive move. There's something also about the psychology of allowing your opponent a check, even if it's not a good check, right? In any of the puzzle where you allow them a check, that's hard to do. Because you said, like, that's why you always want to check yourself, right? That's why you always try to play the most aggressive tempo move. And I think Ray paused here, probably because he was considering play the check first, right? Play the check instead of giving your opponent a check. But actually, the best move is to trap the king on the H file with the threat of G5. And the point, everybody, is if this happens, obviously it's just checkmate in 2. So that's interesting. Those are the types of puzzles we see people struggle with, right? Is these types of moves like queen to g1.
Yeah, I do think that they struggle with it, but I think they do get it right most of the time, because mate is a big part of tactics training, also in your normal game. So I do think that they are going to spot tactics like this quite easily. I do think that, but we still have to pull a log on that and try to see statistics, but that would be my guess.
Yep. All right. Well, amazing stuff we've had here in the first quarterfinal match of the day. Ray Robson moves on. He puts up the best puzzle rush we've seen in the entire event in the process. That is a score of 52, and he did it in style with this amazing instructive puzzle. Sometimes you got to allow your opponent to check, but you still get the job done. When we come back, Hikaru Nakamura, the man most of you have been waiting for. What is the 5-time U.S. champion Super Grandmaster capable of against one of the most infamous puzzle battlers on Chess.com, International Master, Rising Star Hans Niemann? This matchup and more action when we return. The Puzzle Battle World Chess Championship continues. And we are back now. Suddenly, my partner has been replaced. Rulin is still there, lurking somewhere in the background. But with me now, Grandmaster Ray Robson, the Spicy Caterpillar, as he is known, and now rocking a puzzle battle rating currently north of 3,300. Ray, congratulations on moving on to the semis.
Thanks, Danny.
So you put up your best rush so far in the entire Puzzle Battle World Championship with 52 right there in the last round. How's that feel?
Yeah, I was happy to finish strong. I mean, I was not getting I was performing slightly below average for me for most of it. And I wasn't going too fast. So I was happy that I at least I think I got a 50 at some point, and then I finished with 52.
Well, no, you had a 51 actually. But yeah, now Rulin and I were just talking with you, and he's there, so you can chime in, buddy, when you want to there in the background. But we were just confirming, because we showed your 63 as the best puzzle rush score the best puzzle battle score of all time. However, you confirmed that yourself and others who kind of took advantage of that was actually achieved during that week where we experienced the bug that if you kept rematching somebody, you would get the same exact set of puzzles. So you were able to get that 63 score during a time when you were when there was a bug feeding you the same pieces of information, right?
Yeah. So there was the bug for a while where if you kept if you rematch with someone, it would often or always give you the same exact set of puzzles as you had the first time, and you kept rematching the same person, you're going to keep going further and further deeper into the puzzles. So that's how I got 63. I think Jimis also had some extremely high scores as well.
Yes, we have it in the server logs now. We pulled it up. The highest he ever got was also 63, by the way. So you both got the same.
But my highest, not in puzzle battle, maybe my highest was around 54, 55. And in the puzzle rush 3 minute, when you first introduced it, I had 59. And then this updated version, I had 57. But I mean, 60 is definitely possible. Okay.
And that helps, I think, because the fans all want. I mean, obviously, we're not trying to be nitpicky with the details, but I think as we watch you guys solve, it's just amazing. And yesterday's daily question was, what do we think is humanly possible? Let's say that now that kind of the puzzle database is more stable and the bugs are fixed, you're kind of confirming that mid-50s has kind of been the highest you've been able to do, and you haven't really been able to crack 60 yet since those kind of bugs of repeating puzzles were taken away.
Yeah, well, puzzle battle and puzzle rush are a lot different, at least for me. Like the way I play them in puzzle rush, if I was trying to get 60, I think in puzzle rush, if that was my only goal, probably after a few days I'd be able to get 60. But in puzzle battle, my goal is just to try to win every time, not to get the highest score. So I'm much more conservative.
Okay. Well, the next rush is the next battle is underway. We need to get the boards updated up there and changed to.
What is Carl?
No, it's underway. The match has started. Okay. We're getting underway. So can you see Hikaru, Ray?
Yeah, I can.
And you see his his outfit here?
Yeah, he's from another planet, I guess.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Sorry, the rush has not started. Hikaru is just playing a practice battle. Let's pull it up anyway. Let's see Hikaru as he plays in this practice battle, and apparently joins us just after defending the Republic in an X-wing fighter. The future of the Republic is safe. Hikaru Nakamura has saved the day.
Does he know he's is he think he's playing Hans, or
I don't know what Hikaru thinks half the time, like in anything. If I could get inside that head, I'd probably jump out. But but I don't know. All I know is he looks. I mean, I think those glasses look pretty good. Let's hope he didn't just come back from LASIK surgery, because then who's the jerk? Then it's me who's the jerk if he's recovering from LASIK. But otherwise, otherwise it's an interesting outfit. We'll say that. Your thoughts? Have you ever considered wearing sunglasses to a game like Hikaru has?
No, I don't think so. Actually, I don't think I've worn sunglasses at all in like in years. So
Okay.
there have to be some special circumstances, or yeah, some type of eye surgery, as you said.
Exactly, some type of eye surgery. Okay, well, I thought we had more time, Ray. I wanted to tell everybody the story of when you and I were playing blindfold chess on my staircase when you were like 11, and I was trying to get you to go to bed, and you refused to go to sleep. Remember that?
It was at the U.S. chess
Yeah, the
school.
U.S. chess school. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that specifically. I used to play blindfold a lot, so I don't remember. I remember we stayed at your house, or
Yeah.
where you live.
You were staying at the house with your mom, and we had some great fried rice. You remember? It was awesome. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll tease everybody with that later. But I wanted to ask if your love of blindfold chess was one of the first things that led to your love of puzzles. So more about the life of Ray Robson and how he became the Spicy Caterpillar on a future show. We're going to get answers to all these questions later on. Ray, seriously though, congratulations, and we will see you in the semis whenever that happens.
All right, thanks. See you guys.
All righty, well, that was Grandmaster Ray Robson. He is the first competitor to officially move on into the quarterfinals, and now I believe the match with Hikaru indeed has begun. And we are moments away from seeing the live puzzles being solved between Hikaru and Hans Niemann. Right now, Rulin, can you see the puzzles being solved between Hikaru and Hans?
I don't see the puzzles being solved at the moment, and I think Hikaru is also having a laugh.
Hikaru's having a laugh because he just missed his 8th puzzle, and he was laughing because it was not a puzzle he should necessarily be missing. But we'll come back and show it. I've already pulled it up. But all right, here we are, 15-18 right now. Hans Niemann in the lead. Your thoughts?
Yeah. So to be honest, I don't really know much about Hans. Maybe you can enlighten me about him.
Okay, well, he's one of the best puzzle solvers on the site. He's also been pretty enlightening for us when we've had interviews with him in terms of the work he puts in to memorize the puzzle database, going into the learning version of our library where you can really dive in and take your time with the puzzles. So as far as someone really putting in time to memorize the puzzles, you're looking at it. He's been one of those guys who wants to be known as, you know, maybe the best puzzle rusher in the world someday, right? As far as, you know, he's an international master. He's only 16 or 17, I think. So he's a very talented player and calculator, and plays in the Pro Chess League. I believe he enjoys candlelit dinners and long walks on the beach. Long walks on the beach. So there you go. That's everything about Hans Niemann.
Okay. Yeah, sounds like a dark horse for the win, I guess. Yeah, so he's the same as Kasper Scholpe that we talked about, who was also memorizing and had the world record of puzzle rush at some point, about 91 score. So Hans is on the same boat as Kasper, I would guess. But they are making early mistakes compared to Ray Robson, and those are I would have definitely made the same mistakes, though, don't get me wrong, but they are quite early, I would say.
Well, and especially Hikaru's first mistake. Obviously, he kind of laughed it off, and he does have plenty of time to try to make a comeback. But yeah, the first one Hikaru missed, I'm sure he wishes he could have it back, because if he did, you know, add another correct one to it, he would still have a chance right here. But unfortunately, there he goes.
Oh, now, I saw the answer to that. I was thinking, but these are long moves again. I saw the answer to that. Actually.
Yeah. It was a one mover. Hans still in contention, though, to try to put up one of his best scores. And remember, that matters, everyone, because the further along Hans gets here, the bigger lead he takes, right? Because the scoring system carries over the differential between each score. We'll remind everybody the format right after this.
Yeah. So 47, that means a 9 score lead for Hans Niemann.
Say that again.
That's a good start.
I missed what you said, but Hans does put up a fantastic score to start things off with a 47. And, well, again, I mean, we're going to take a quick look at the 3 puzzles that Hikaru got wrong if we have the time, but I think that this shows why we know Hikaru has his work cut out for him, right? And I'm going to guess that this is not going to be what we see all day. I think that I think Hans came out blazing. Hikaru came out struggling. But for those of you thinking it's going to be a landslide, I'll put my money that Hikaru wins several rounds here. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if Hikaru can pull the upset, but I don't think 38-47 is going to be the final score of the day consistently.
Well, that sounds so weird, saying that Hikaru has to be the one to make the upset.
I know.
You know, usually it's the other way around.
I don't think I've ever done a Chess.com event where I get to say that, right? I mean, this is one of those unique experiences here. But all right, the first one he missed was very simple. I think he just mouse slipped. There was nothing to the position besides just queen f2, queen f1, and I think he just mouse slipped and played queen f1 right away. If I remember, I saw him laughing it off, but there's clearly nothing in the position that's another trick to look at, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these type of tactics you solve immediately. This must have been a mouse slip.
Yeah,
I agree.
All right. Well, the second one that was solved incorrectly, a little bit trickier. H takes g6, f takes g6, bishop takes was all played, and in this position, for some reason, I think Hikaru played a different check than queen f5, which picks up the rook.
Yeah.
On c8. So, again, these are the types of puzzles that we're pretty sure Hikaru is going to be nailing out. And for those of you wondering, yesterday Hikaru was able, on Thursday Hikaru was able to get scores in the high 40s, and though he did never crack 50. He did hold up a piece of paper saying he was going to get 50, or maybe, kind of saying, like, can I get 50? It was actually pretty awesome. Almost as awesome as the shades he's wearing.
Yeah, obviously. So my joke was that he came from the shooting range, you know?
Oh, he came from a shooting range. So we've had LASIK surgery, Star Wars references, and shooting range. Yeah. We'll see what else we can get. We appreciate it. I mean, here we have takes, queen b8, and... I don't know what happened here. Again, none of these puzzles seem to be puzzles that Hikaru is going to be missing again. Like,
yeah. So when he played queen takes c6, I saw that this was the answer. Yeah. So I guess he still needs to warm up a little bit.
Oh, so this was the move he played. He played queen takes c6.
He played queen takes c6, and I saw that it was rook takes a3, queen b8, and queen b2.
Right.
Yeah. But it was, I mean, I think he just has to warm up a little.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and obviously queen takes c6 is no good, everybody, because, okay, the trade here would allow you to take with check, and that's kind of what Hikaru probably calculated. He quickly looked at the position and thought, oh, I can take, because if you take, I win. But black doesn't have to take there. Black can play a number of other things, including king g7 to avoid all the tactics, and now rook takes f3 is a real threat. Black is probably just winning in the rook ending.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, so he didn't find a force tactic in that one, and again, these were long moves. Yeah, queen b8, queen b2.
Yeah, it is. It's the long range moves we keep talking about, right? But I also think in this case, not to hold it against Hikaru, I think in this case he probably just saw that rook takes f3 didn't work and just assumed this is the tactic. But one of the things when we talk about taking stock in the position, really, we talk about the when you take stock, you quickly make this imprint of the position, king safety, what pieces are hanging. The other thing that you want to be able to do in that is also recognize the material, right? I mean, like if you're down or up material, that changes things. And I think if you're down material, then just taking a pawn is not going to be something you can settle on. So, all right, well, let's go back and see if our players are ready to start the next round, because I know that you and I are ready.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, while he did grab his helmet at the break, Hikaru took off his glasses, disappointing fans around the world.
Oh, no, he did.
But him and Luke Skywalker are teaming up after this for a couple of drinks after that fall of that Death Star. You know what I'm talking about? And there you go. All right, well, the next match between these guys is beginning here in just a few moments. For those of you just tuning in, guess what? You're lucky. You haven't missed it, despite the fact that you're late. Shame on you. But thanks for being here, because Hikaru Nakamura versus Hans Niemann has only just begun, and we have 9 more rounds ahead.
9 more exciting matches. Yeah, I am really curious who is going to win this. This is supposed to be a really tight match. Both players are having about the same scores usually. So I'm very curious who will.
Yeah, I really
continue.
think this is going to be a close match. And I, like I said, I thought that maybe the psychological difficulty of going up against Hikaru might affect Hans. Obviously, doesn't look like it did in the first round. But what do you think about that? I know that Hans knows he's a beast at puzzles, right? But he's playing Hikaru Nakamura, right? I mean, do you think that has any kind of psychological effect at some point? Let's say he loses, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's different for everybody. And Hans, at first glance, he doesn't strike me as the person to get easily intimidated by someone. But you do have yeah people with personalities who are, how do you say, susceptible to intimidation. So, but
Right.
Hans at first strike doesn't at first glance doesn't strike me as such a person. Although I do not know him, of course. So. Yeah, but it can sometimes be a factor. Like in a classical game, when I was playing Carlsen at some point, or actually at the European Club Cup, I was playing against Dimitri Andreikin, who played in the World Candidates, and that was well, I wasn't, let's say, intimidated, but I still was very much impressed by getting to play against the huge guy Dimitri Andreikin, huge chess player, of course. Yeah, so, but they are quickly on the way. They both now have scores of 37-37, both 2 mistakes. So we're talking about very close, a close match. Yeah, and it's starting at Hikaru, who's now taking the lead by 2, by margin of 2. So maybe Hikaru is going to set the score straight.
Right. Well, here he goes. He's hit 41st. That's usually the benchmark, right? The guy that hits 41st wins, and that sounds like a Captain Obvious, but I mean, maybe it's a Captain Obvious. Don't know what to say.
Oh, okay. Is Niemann going to tie the score? 42. He can win.
Yep. At the last second, it's tied. 42. Oh, 43. He passed Hikaru.
Yes.
Oh,
he's got it.
So close. Pull up this puzzle here that Hikaru got wrong. That shows us the third strike Hikaru achieved. A difficult position. In this position, I'm pretty sure he played bishop takes g4, which is normal, right? Normally, if you take with the bishop, you're thinking, oh, if they take back, I get knight takes g4, right?
Yes.
But bishop takes, and black is actually running out of firepower for the attack.
Yeah. So I was surprised that he missed that one, because knight takes g4 is actually the more forcing move there, because you are threatening mate. So
and the main thing is you get rook f2 is the follow-up.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the point. So, but I was with the candidate moves. I made a point that you are going to play the most forcing moves usually, like a check, or you take a piece or something. Right. Knight takes g4 is the more forcing move, because you are threatening one with queen h2.
But I guess that partly comes, like, you're looking at the pattern and you're thinking of the knight and queen working together, right? Doing nasty things that they can do, and I guess you quickly said. The other thing is you have knight takes e4 as another option on bishop takes g4. So it's one of those things where you can understand miscalculating it, but yeah, knight takes g4 right away, and rook f2 is clearly the most forcing variation, and actually it's just checkmate. So this was the third strike that had a very, very close battle there. If you just missed it, Hans Niemann won at the last moment with a score of 44-42. Let's remind everybody, while we have a second, of some other things going on right now. We've got a couple minutes before the next battle begins.
All right.
Are you playing in the Pro Chess League for any of these teams, or are you going to be commentating with us?
Well, okay, put me on the spot there. Yeah, I would love to commentate on the Pro Chess League, of course. That would be. There's a new setup. So in previous years, it was more of a team championship where the average rating was supposed to be 2,500 for the 4 participating players for a team. But nowadays it's more a nation league, because you have the best players of your nation more or less playing for your team. So for the Amsterdam Mosquitoes, my country, the Netherlands, we are obviously going to try and get the best players playing for that. But I think the Americans are one of the favorites to win here. So let's see which team would actually be. So that would be the New York Marshals. Is that correct? Or
well, you saying the Marshals are a favorite over the Bishops?
Oh, you've got the Bishops as well. Oh, so it's not actually a Nations League then. So that was like how I summarized it in my head, but it's not exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's the divisions are different than they were previously, and they're broken into three: Western, Central, and Eastern divisions, respectively. But the Marshals go up against the Archbishops in the schedule we have there, and I think even with Hikaru playing for them, probably the Archbishops will have a higher average rating. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty exciting first week. Let's remind everybody real quick of the format of what's going on here in the playoffs. Now that we're in the quarterfinal here, a lot of new people tuning in now that Hikaru Nakamura is rolling. The puzzle battle matches that you're seeing here are 10 rounds. Hans Niemann has won the first 2 rounds, proven why he is the favorite, the beast from the East. I don't know, just gave him a nickname that doesn't make any sense. Points are awarded by the margin of victory. So right now, Hans is in pretty good shape. That's why not only do you want to win, you want to play your best and solve your best all the way to the last puzzle. Or even if you're not having your best rush, you want to stay focused. If the matches are tied after 10 rounds of sudden death, after 10 rounds, we will have a sudden death tiebreaker. The sudden death tiebreaker is pretty simple. We're just going to have people play puzzle battles until someone wins. And if they tie, guess what? They keep playing. And you cannot move on to the next round in the playoffs until you win the match in front of you. So it's win or go home, literally.
Yeah. So do you think we're going to see a sudden death?
I would be shocked. Honestly, if I had to guess the match that is maybe the 2 of the matches that are most likely to be that close, I would say are this match and the match between Firouzja and Christopher Yu. I think that Jimis 9-8 is the favorite over MVL. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Probably even Maxime Vachier-Lagrave would agree with that. He was very complimentary of Lautopoulos in his interview that he just completed for Chess.com. It's actually on the homepage right now. An amazing interview with Maxime. You should check it out. Talking about everything from the candidates controversy to playing with his French teammates. Really great interview. Check it out. But I don't know, if I had to guess, Roland, I think that this match has the potential to be close, although not right now with Hikaru already missing that first one. And I think the matchup between Firouzja and Yu also has the potential to be close.
Yeah, Firouzja and Yu. Yeah, so those are 2 matches that are going to be close, more or less. But in this case, Hans is in a big lead, which kind of surprises me, of course, because this is the Hikaru Nakamura that we're talking about. But on the other hand, Hikaru has a how do you say, is behind, but he doesn't seem too upset about it. I have seen him playing matches and others, and then if he would lose one, then he would get upset or he would be a bit frustrated. But in this case, he's just laughing it off, and he is relaxed, I think. So I don't know. He's acting a little different than usual, I would say. But that's just what I'm seeing right from the spot. So,
well, Hikaru laughs off that second puzzle he got wrong again. There, he's obviously some of these are designed to trick you, and so he's being tricked. He is, but Hans is honestly just. I mean, even if Hikaru was perfect right now, it'd be pretty difficult to stay with the speed. I mean, look how fast Niemann is. Okay, right as I say that, he gets one wrong, but I mean, he's just so good. He's he's solving at a pace that is super hard to keep up with, even if you're perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hans is really killing it at the moment, and I don't know. We saw they sometimes get the same puzzles. That's interesting to see as well. Like
they do.
They solve it in a different pace or on. Hikaru now has the same one that Hans made a mistake for, and Hikaru
he found it. Yeah, that's a tough puzzle right there. That I'm gonna pull it up, even though they both got it correct, because that is a very difficult puzzle. A retreating move in the face of pins and checks and all kinds of stuff. That's a pretty awesome and nasty puzzle.
Well, Hans actually got that one wrong. He played queen
Oh,
a4.
Hans got that one wrong.
Yeah, but Hikaru solved it. So.
Okay, I see now. Yeah.
So
Hikaru's caught up here. I mean, this has been one of his better rushes. Okay, he ends it. Looks like he falls short as time expires at 41, but that wasn't the worst. That wasn't the worst difference, right? I mean, only 4 separating them is pretty close. And let's take a quick look at the fact that we do have an updated schedule. We've been working hard with everyone to make sure we make up for the fact that we had to reschedule things this early this morning when the Puzzle Battle server was down. But we have liftoff, and tomorrow we will have the next quarterfinal between Christopher Yu and Alireza Firouzja. No word yet on the other remaining quarterfinal between Jimis 9-8 and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. But Sunday, January 5th, that's tomorrow morning. Be with us. Alireza Firouzja takes on Christopher Yu. I don't know who the favorite is there, so I'm saying Alireza takes on Christopher Yu, because at this point, given what we're seeing with Hans Niemann, I think these puzzle specialists are saying, you may be Hikaru Nakamura, but this is my playground, right? I'm the top dog here.
Yeah. Honor me, pay respects to me, because this is my town.
Yeah, this is my town, right? This town ain't big enough for the two of us. Well, all right. This puzzle right here, though, is the one you highlighted that actually Hikaru got right and Hans got wrong. A super difficult puzzle because the rook is facing down against your own king, right? This is you've got the potential of discovered checks, but only if the rook stays along this file. Since you can't, oops, not that. You can't move it anywhere else. That wouldn't work. So what move did Hans play here that he got wrong?
He played queen a4, and I think he got stuck with. I think the first thing that you see is the check, so you want to play rook f5.
Right.
But after queen e7, you're suddenly thinking, oh, but wait, my rook is pinned. So as you said, so, and then you take a look at the other check, which Hikaru found with queen b4.
Right.
But once again, a very, very long move to make queen b4. It's a check that you don't see very quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, so it took Hikaru also a few seconds to find queen b4 there.
And again, as you said, not a check you see very often, not a pattern you see every day, right? A position with your king on f3 and the rook pinning it. Yet somehow you also manage this battery here with the queen and bishop. I mean, the discovery over here. This is kind of a unique position, right?
Yeah. It's a very, how you say, original puzzle, yeah.
Yeah, rook f5. And by the way, everyone, the king has to go to e7 to allow the queen check, because obviously if the king goes anywhere else, you just take the rook for free. So king e7 is the only move, and then queen to b4 does the job. So, okay, that was one Hikaru got right and Hans got wrong. But let's actually also review the 2 puzzles that Hikaru got wrong, because ultimately those were the ones that held him back. This first one right here, in this position after bishop takes h3. I'm going to guess Hikaru played rook takes h3, but the move is actually rook takes g7. And after king g8, rook g8 check. I've actually seen this particular puzzle before, and I think I've gotten it wrong before. Wow. This is kind of a tough one.
Yeah, I'm wondering what is actually wrong with rook takes h3 there.
It's a good question. Let's find out. If rook takes h3, maybe queen f4 check.
Yeah, and then king g1.
And then
rook, guess.
Oh, it's not rook g5. Maybe you take first.
Yeah. Take first, then queen takes f2. Looks like you're going to lose that position. Yeah. Perhaps, or
no, but actually, queen takes and queen takes f2. Like white's actually escaping, and you're up a piece. So it must be something else. It must be something like rook g5, rook, and then if rook g3, like rook g6, like something like this.
92?
Oh, 92. No, I'm wrong. White's winning here.
Or 94, yeah.
So what's the... Oh, here you can actually take and give check, because if king f1, you have rook f6, and if queen f2, you have rook h1.
Oh, yeah, that's so...
What a hard puzzle, though, right? I mean, seriously. Yeah. And I don't know that... Hikaru probably didn't calculate all that. He probably just played rook takes h3 quickly, instinctively, but very difficult. As you said, what's wrong with rook takes h3? You're up a piece, and that's a hard variation to really believe in and follow through. You know, because even this isn't very good for black. So, all right, quickly, the last one that Hikaru got wrong was a little more straightforward. Queen f4 is the best move, threatening queen f6 check, and he just wasn't able to spot that move. Kind of a hard one, I guess, to slide the queen over, but that's the only move that wins. Queen f4, and the main line runs like this with rook d8, and then after the trade, because obviously this is mate. So, okay, well, the next rush is probably getting set to begin here very shortly, but this was a tough one also to get wrong, right? Missing this move, queen f4.
Yeah, because there are no checks. You have to make a silent move like.
Oh my gosh, it's even more painful than that. As the next round begins, I'm being told it was actually a mouse slip. He actually got queen f4, but he missed. He made queen f5 on the next move instead of queen f6. Just laughing.
Oh no! Oh, that hurts. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying about mouse control. Yeah, so.
Wow, that sucks.
It's not only being good at chess. It's also about how good you are with the mouse. Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go. We still got a lot of action ahead, and Hans Niemann has won each of the first 3 rounds here, showing why he's the favorite. Hikaru misses that 18th puzzle there. Or sorry, it was actually his 13th that he missed. I was looking at chat.
Yeah.
But wow.
So
well,
Hans again taking the lead. And Hikaru already having made a mistake, yeah. So this is not looking too good for Hikaru. But maybe he can bounce back.
Well, he's only down by 1 right now, but again, he's not putting together his best rushes anyway, despite the fact that he's playing against Hans Niemann, right? Because a lot of them, the first mistakes he's making are pre 25, right? Along with mouse slips, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, mouse slips. Yeah, a lot of mouse slips actually.
Yeah, when you're making mouse slips and you're kind of making earlier ones, that's not. I think if they get into close rushes where they're both solving on equal footing, that's where Hikaru has his best chance. And even Hans Niemann said so, right? He said that the stronger players are able to maybe be a little more consistent with the tough puzzles they haven't seen. That's why he works pretty hard to try to memorize them. Right now, his speed is just so much better, and he's just that much more accurate. Although, okay, he's missed 2 here, so now you're nervous because if you miss 1 more, 3rd strike.
Yeah, he's thinking. He's taking more time because he knows that if he gets this one wrong, then he cannot solve another one anymore. But Hikaru now also 2 mistakes, but Hans made his 3rd mistake, so Hikaru can settle the.
This is it. But this is Hikaru's chance to make a move.
Hikaru's thinking, what is...
This is
is he going to get this
Whoa,
right?
What a weird... Oh, my gosh.
He made it... that was his chance.
Wow, he misses the 3rd one. That was a super tough puzzle. I'm pulling it up to try to understand. He played queen f2.
Oh, it's queen e1. It's queen e1.
Well, okay, I've got it up now. What's the move? Queen e1 because you also hit the rook.
Again, these long moves. I think we're definitely seeing a pattern here. Queen
e1 is the move because it's a fork.
Yeah, it's a double attack.
Queen f2 also possible, but doesn't necessarily win any material if the bishop runs away somewhere. I guess this is the only move. No move that other moves are safe, but it looks like it's good enough for white.
Yeah.
Wow.
That hurts. That hurts.
Man.
He had a big chance there.
Well, it hurts too because that was his chance, as you said, right? It was 38-39. He had roughly 40 seconds left, and Hans had already gotten his 3rd strike. So that was kind of Hans Niemann leaving the door open. That was Hikaru's chance.
Yeah, definitely. He had 45 seconds to get a lead on Hans, but he goes wrong at the first puzzle there. So
I think people calling queen f2 a mouse slip. I don't think that's true. I don't think queen f2 is a mouse slip in this one. Earlier he had a mouse slip with queen f5 that I missed, but there's a lot of action going pretty fast here, so hard to keep up.
And looking at his reaction, I would also say that this was not a mouse slip.
Yeah, I don't think this one was a mouse slip, but I also don't think the match is over. I think there's still plenty of time left for Hikaru to come back if he can find himself in the rhythm. I'm being told we're going to take a very, very quick break here. When we come back, the back half of the match between Hikaru Nakamura and Hans Niemann wraps up. It's the Puzzle Battle World Chess Championship. More action in just a few minutes.
A premium membership at Chess.com will help you improve your game with full access to a powerful set of learning tools. Unlimited tactics let you practice like a master, with more than 50,000 puzzles to challenge you at every level. Our library of interactive chess lessons, created by master coaches, will enhance every aspect of your game. And after each game you play, the computer analysis feature will give you feedback on every move you played, turning every game into a chance to learn. And that's not all. Premium benefits also include unlimited tournaments, video lessons, the Opening Explorer, and much, much more. Upgrade now to take your game to the next level.
And we are back now with the Puzzle Battle World Chess Championship. The second quarterfinal of the day going down right now between Hikaru Nakamura and Hans Niemann. And 4 rounds in the books, but my money says this match is not over, despite the differential currently on the scoreboard. Let's take a look at what those runs have been to this point and where we stand. We have Ray Robson. Just let's not talk about that. Okay, he did okay. We'll just say that. With a 59-point differential ultimately between him and Sevian through 10 rounds. But right now it's only 16 points separating, and because every round has the point differential change, we still have more matches ahead than we do behind us, and depending on what happens here, we know we haven't seen the best Hikaru yet. I think that's the main point, Rulin, and not to say that maybe today won't be his best day, and it's not to say that Hans Niemann isn't the favorite, but I don't think we've seen the strongest puzzle-solving Hikaru Nakamura at this point in the match.
No, definitely, yeah. And also, he has some bad luck because of mouse slips, and actually a few mouse slips, actually.
Yeah, a few, yeah.
So, yeah, we definitely are. Well, I'm hoping that that he is going to be in better form in the rest of the matches, because yeah, we all know Hikaru. Once he's behind, he does get a little frustrated or something like that. So yeah, I'm really hoping that he pulls himself together and tries to get back into the match, because he definitely has a shot. Yeah, 16-0, that's doable. We still have 6.
I think if he wins one, it's different, right? I think that sometimes it's the old cliche, you got to get one. And right now, he had his best chance. That particular rush that we said was 38-39, right? Where he got his third strike with still about 40 seconds left. And I think it has to start right here. If we show one of the puzzles Hikaru got wrong right before they get started. Oh, apparently I'm wrong. No. We don't have time. The match has begun, and here we go. The back half of this quarterfinal matchup begins. Hans Niemann coming to us live right before he leaves heaven to enter Earth as an archangel, and and brings destruction to all puzzle solvers on the planet. I don't know what's going on behind him, but Hikaru.
I like.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I wanted to say, like, well, Hikaru is now leaning forward. He takes a more active.
Yeah, I think,
position, so.
the puzzle I was going to show was one of the earlier ones he missed, just to show, to elaborate on my point that I just don't think we've seen the best Hikaru, and it's not, defending Hikaru. The guy doesn't need defense. He's a super grandmaster, and we know what he's capable of in terms of his blitz and bullet and just calculation speeds. But I just don't think anybody would argue that we haven't seen him play his best. And this is shocking for those just joining in. This is the first time I think Hikaru has made it into the 20s without missing kind of an easy puzzle. And that's my point, is that Hikaru's been making mistakes. And I think if he puts together his best run, I expect what I said yesterday to be true. I think this should be a very close match.
Yeah. So he needs to pull himself together. And I think, yeah, that was the point that I was going to make, because he's leaning forward, as you can see from the camera feed from Hikaru. He seems to be motivated. That's at least the body language that I get from him at the moment. So I'm really hoping that that he's coming back from this, because of course we want to see a tight match. We want some excitement here. So
yeah, I agree. I think this is where we're going to see the difference. Hans in the lead with 1.5 minutes roughly remaining, but the puzzles get tougher, and we'll see if Hikaru can keep pace. Being the stronger overall chess player, can he maintain as the puzzles are overall stronger? And right now, there we go. Hans is the first one to miss, and Hikaru takes the lead. I think if you were going to write a storyline that said, how does Hikaru have a chance against a puzzle beast like Hans, it has to take place in these moments, in the harder puzzles where he can prove he's the stronger player.
Is it true? Am I seeing, by the way, that they are having the same puzzles?
Yeah, no, they're that close because Hans is that much faster and he's missed one. So they're like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. Hans is right, but Hans is stuck on the Queen F3 one. It's Rook H5 and Bishop E8.
Yeah, Rook H5, Bishop E8.
Okay, he
wow,
sees it. He sees it there, but Hikaru's already 2 ahead.
So what is this one? It's Rook G3.
He found it. He found it. This is it. If Hikaru gets a win, it starts right here, right now. And this is the storyline that I think makes it interesting because Hans is the better puzzle solver. But when you're playing a super GM and they start to pull themselves together, does that affect you psychologically? And right now, Hikaru has by far his best rush of the night on the screen. And Hans strikes out. Hikaru unable to solve that last puzzle, I guess, with a few seconds remaining. But he does get a 3 spot on the board and brings the total score down to 13.
Oh, the last puzzle was a tough one. You almost have a stalemate, but you can simply take on F4 because it is not yet a stalemate. So yeah, so Hikaru ready for the comeback. Now the difference in score is, I think, if I calculated that correctly, 13 points. So
yep,
it should be good. This should become, hopefully Hikaru can get a comeback going, of course.
Well, or at least make it a bit of a fight here. And I again, you know, I'm more defending my prediction because I think this should be close, and I think we're going to get that in the back half. I also think tomorrow is going to be a close match between Hikaru Nakamura and Jan Nepomniachtchi. I think Hikaru definitely the favorite there, but do you think any riding high is happening here for Nepomniachtchi as he heads into this match after winning the Jerusalem Grand Prix?
Oh, like does he keep his good form going?
Yeah, you know, I
don't know.
Who knows,
I don't know.
right?
Hikaru is the best speed chess player in the world, I think, at the moment. So, but yeah, that's just my opinion. But as you said, I mean, Napalm is of course, is of course in really good form lately, and he might bring it. But on the other hand, he does have a shift of focus now, because he declined the invitation in Tata Steel because he qualified for the candidates. So he might be focused more on the candidates tournament than on any other thing. So
I think the SEC is at the top of his list, ahead of the candidates. I think the Speed Chess Championship is the match he's got circled on his calendar. Just kidding, but I'm not kidding about the Puzzle Battle World Championship hype. I know a lot of people look at Ray Robson as the favorite, but again, look at Sam Sevian's overall rush. Right now, it would have beat Hikaru Nakamura, right? I mean, Sam Sevian's round of 10 was very impressive, and
it seems though that Hans still has got the better scores than Sevian.
Yep.
So, Ray Robson, one of the favorites, I think. I'm really curious about the other match that's going to happen between JM and.
Let's show the bracket. Remind everybody of the other matchups that are going down here in the quarterfinals. As you see, of course, we already saw Ray Robson move on just by the 59 hairs on his chinny chin chin. We've got Hikaru Nakamura taking on Hans Niemann right now. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Pacific time, Christopher Yu takes on Firouzja, and we are still scheduling the Demetrius Latopoulos match versus Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. So there you have it. Give us your picks, because you may or may not be with me. Heck, I may or may not be commentating on those matches. Who are your picks in Yu versus Firouzja and MVL versus Latopoulos?
Well, Latopoulos definitely has my pick against MVL. I know that his scores of 50 plus are pretty common and pretty. I think he's even more the favorite to me than Robson. Actually, I think he might be actually the big favorite to win this overall. And then Crystal for you against Firouzja. I mean, Yu has surprised me, but I don't know how well Firouzja is in these puzzle battles. So far, I've only seen Yu, and I think that Yu has also got amazing scores. So my thing, I think,
are you saying you only have eyes for Yu?
Oh boy, are we getting that?
I only have eyes for Yu. At least tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific time. I only have eyes for you. Those asking again, we just showed the image. The Speed Chess Championship match is tomorrow at 8 Pacific. So make sure you tune in for that. But so I want to go back to what you said. You said you think Jimis 9-8 is more of a favorite overall to win than Ray Robson?
Yeah, because I've seen his scores, and I think he got 57 at some point or something like that.
But
I
again,
think his
how many?
scores
He got 57 against me, but I wonder what the difference is. You know, now that they're solving in a database that is, I would say, it's at the peak we've ever had it as far as difficulty and variety. So I wonder. I'll put it this way: when Jimis 9-8 went, the highest score he was able to get was 51. I think we've seen Robson more consistently reach that 5-0 mark, at least in the puzzle battle event that we've had going.
Okay. I might also be a bit biased because JM has beaten me. So of course I would like him to win.
But in that case, you should be picking me to win the whole thing because I've also beaten you.
Ah, really? Ah, so you are hoping that you is going to win.
I'm kidding. All right, we've got the next round underway. This is the 6th one, and look at that. Hans Niemann strikes out at number 10. I told you. What I said was the only way this becomes a match is if Hikaru kind of finds himself and puts the pressure, because I think there's something to be said for a young international master going up against one of his, kind of like heroes in American chess. I mean, Hikaru Nakamura is on another level in terms of his overall class, right? And look at that. There's a second one in a row. What? We saw a tilt happen yesterday, and I think that right here, right now, is when the drama begins. I love how everyone accuses me of just like being biased or being melodramatic. It's not possible that I was actually saying the correct storyline, which is that if the youngster comes under pressure, we may see psychological mistakes. That's what I'm saying, and I think that's what we're getting.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Yes, two early mistakes, nerves that might be based on nerves, like you're saying at the moment. Yeah, I mean, because now, of course, when you're so close to the goal, when you have a big lead, then things like, oh, I hope I don't screw this up are getting in your head.
Right.
So, and then of course also what you're mentioning about being playing against the Hikaru Nakamura. Yeah, such things could be a factor, but I think actually that Hans has pulled himself together.
Yeah, he looks like he has. And this is what he's got to do, right? So for him to win the match, he's got to be able to take these punches from the Super GM and then continue to fight, because we know his experience in puzzle battles. Anybody who's watched the leaderboards has seen him put up amazing scores, and there you have it. He's held strong now with 2 wrong. Hikaru is on the same. It's on the same spot here. Hikaru now has also gotten 2 wrong. So there you go. That's what I want to see. If Hans is going to prove that he's a contender to win this whole thing, this is what he's got to do. He's got to prove that he can rally himself from early mistakes, which honestly, that's what he's done here. And I think that's inspiring if you're a Hans Niemann fan, that he can recover from kind of the early tilt of making easy misses.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually really impressed by Hans because, as you said, he made 2 early mistakes, but I think he's getting his best score at the moment.
Yep,
so.
I agree. No, look, that's exactly what we want to see as far as believing whether he has the potential to win this. And this has been impressive, honestly. For him to start out with the strikes that he did and come back here, this is amazing for Hans Niemann.
Hikaru 97, yes.
And because not a bad run by Hikaru either, I guess 41, but look at that, time runs out. And wow, I am super impressed there because like I was calling it earlier, I said, look out, here comes the potential tilt. Here comes the potential problem of what could be in this match, but Hans recovered in impressive fashion, Roland. That was amazing.
Well, now that I see Hikaru's close-up, we talked about Hans' psychological problems, yeah? So what possible psychological bars or things that he has to take care of? But what about Hikaru's psychological bars? Because he is already down, and he has been down from the start, and he might, of course, he's a world-class player, and he knows it. So how hard is it for him to come back from behind? I mean, isn't it that is for a world-class player, you don't often get in such.
I was going to say you don't often get in these positions, so that's the thing. Is I think it is hard. I think it's hard to kind of take a beating from an IM. right? I mean, I haven't given many, so you know, it's something that I think you're right. I think for Hans Niemann, it's rallying against the blows that we know Hikaru is going to be able to deliver, right? And for Hikaru, I think, you know, just keeping your head about you and kind of remembering, you know, this is kind of different territory, but you still got to solve puzzles and not get frustrated. But anyway, this was the puzzle that Hans missed. He played bishop a5 check, and when the king moved, I believe he checked with the rook. And again, these are happening really fast. It's super difficult to see what they got wrong. All I'm really able to do is pull it up and tell you what the correct answer is. But again, this was a very easy puzzle that Hans missed, and the second puzzle that he missed was right here, where he didn't play the move queen to d6, which
double attack,
which just wins material, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, again, these were two very, very kind of easy puzzles that were missed by Hans. As I said, maybe the chat knows. I didn't see what they got wrong. I just know that those are the answers. And I think that the main storyline I want to bring up is that it's not that he got those wrong. Look at that. He got his 11th puzzle, if you see there, right next to me, right there, right there. He got his 11th puzzle wrong, and then I guess that's his 17th puzzle wrong. But he still managed to put up a score of 46. Very impressive.
I mean, that is a sign for me that he's not going to let up. I think he has this match in the bag. I think he's not going to weaken.
I'm not ready to give up on Hikaru Nakamura's comeback yet, but I do agree. I agree that was a huge sign that he's at least capable of rallying, and because he has the lead that he does, right? As we see the two guys getting ready for their next match, the lead, because he has the lead that he does, and he was able to rally from that. I think that's exactly what I needed to see to become a true Hans Niemann believer, and I think that was impressive. Like I said.
Yeah, I think so too. So different question though. So both are from the States, right?
Yeah.
So are they both from the West Coast or both from the East Coast?
We bring up Hans Niemann here and talk a little bit about him. As you said, he is from the States, but he's actually going to be competing for the Norway Gnomes in the Pro Chess League.
Okay.
Hans is from the East Coast. I actually don't know where. I guess I need to brush up on my Hans Niemann trivia.
Okay.
But Hans, I know he's an East Coast kid, not necessarily a West Coast kid. Hikaru Nakamura, obviously his achievement list is a little bit longer at this stage in his career, but we know he's originally from New York, White Plains, New York, but has lived everywhere. He's lived on the West Coast in Seattle, lived in Canada, currently has a home in Sunrise, Florida. So, but Hikaru originally from White Plains, New York, an East Coaster, Yankees fan, I can confirm that. He also likes the Knicks, so I sympathize. Hans is from Connecticut, so I knew Hans was an East Coast kid. What?
He likes chess poker.
He likes chess poker. You mean choker? The worst name choker, of any game ever in the history of names?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't want to talk about the name choker because I feel like I should be arrested just for saying it on any show that kids might be watching. But let's get back to these players as they start going. Because I think that's the more relevant situation right now.
Of course. So what's the current score actually between the two?
The current score is 21-3, 18 points in the favor of Hans Niemann.
Okay. Yeah. So still big leads and only 5 more battles to go, right? So
that's right.
That means that he has to score an average of about a 4-point difference or something.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. He has to start coming back right here, right now.
Yeah,
I don't think Hikaru's actually from Ridgecrest, California originally, as he said in chat, but maybe I don't think so. Okay, good. Yeah, classic Hikaru.
Yeah. The team actually gave a fun statistic because Hikaru on Thursday had an average points of 43.7, while in this match so far he has scored average of 40.8. So that is kind of a big difference. That's a 3 puzzle difference. So he's not scoring that well for his standards.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing stat. Yeah, right there. I mean, that shows you what we're saying, right? And that it's not a bias of any kind. It's just knowing what we saw on Thursday and knowing that on Thursday he put up a score of 49 in a practice round. So right now it's and again, it's tough. And maybe it's the psychological point you said, Roland, that he knew he's playing against a beast here in Hans Niemann, and that makes it kind of hard for him, right? That, you know, just like it can be hard, I think, for Hans Niemann, you know, if Hikaru really starts to put some pressure. And that, I guess that's kind of what I thought might happen in the match, is I thought Hikaru might come out kind of blazing, and then we would see how Hans could deal with that, knowing that he should be the favorite, but hey, now I'm playing Hikaru. And again, he just proved that in that last round. I've been very impressed with Hans Niemann so far, to be honest. I mean, I think being able to recover from those early misses last round was a big step.
Wow, and yeah, kudos to the team who are supporting us on this event, of course. That also, we have to talk about Hans's average at the moment. So on Thursday, he had a 38.7 per round average, but on this one, he had a 43.7.
So it's like a role reversal, right? Hikaru is 3 points lower than average, and Hans is nearly 5 points better on average.
Yeah,
or more than five,
he's really showing, he's stepping up on the right moments.
Yep.
He's showing a clean game in the moment when it absolutely counts the most. So
stepping up when it matters most. He does miss his opportunity to get to 43 here.
Hans is out. So
Hikaru has an opportunity if he can find a way to convert on these last couple puzzles with 20 seconds left.
Come on. Queen
He's
takes
got
E4,
one.
yeah.
Your opportunities now. Hans missed this with queen takes e2. Oh, Hikaru finds it.
Rook takes f1, and now
Rook f8 and e4. Hikaru gets it. He's made a little bit of progress. I don't think getting 1+ in each round is going to be enough for Hikaru, but 2 might be if he can slowly chip away at that lead.
Yeah,
an impressive run there, honestly, by both players. But let's actually pull up that puzzle that was kind of the difference in the match. The difference in the match was this one right here that Hikaru was able to solve, that Hans struck out on. So take us through this one, Roland.
Well, first of all, I just noticed that white had a bishop on a5, so I was thinking black was material up, but white still has a bishop.
That's so funny, because I did the same thing. I didn't even know there was a bishop on a5 when I first, with that whole Grandmaster, the first time you look at it. I didn't even see it.
So yeah, so Hans, I think he played queen takes e2, just making a guess there, but rook takes f3 looks to me like
I'm just showing that this was his idea, but unfortunately there's no mate and bake, right? It's fake news. There is nothing. But go ahead, take us through the right idea that Hikaru found.
Yeah. So rook takes f3 is the right move, with the idea that if white takes back on f3, then the rook on e2 is hanging. So in that case, you win a piece. But white can also take on e5, and I think here comes the hard part, because you want to take on f1, and because that's a free rook, of course, so that's what you're doing. But after king g2, now you need to make a really good move. That's the move.
Yeah,
f8.
This is a crazy hard combination. I mean, just take stock of the position. You're down a queen, but white can't stop things like d4 check.
Yeah, and even then it's not completely over, because the rook can still come back to e4. So
and block.
Yeah, it's not 100% clear. Yeah, so I'm guessing, let's say you play rook e6 here, d4 check, rook e4. I'm thinking actually that you have to play a move like rook 8 f4 to win.
Rook what?
Rook 8 f4.
Oh, what?
And then if you play something like queen g3, then you can play rook takes e4, for example.
This is so crazy.
It's real. You have to see all this. I mean, it's. I think this is correct, though. But
I think the slightly better version is even more computers. You ready? You ready for the computer's move that just crushes?
Oh boy!
Look at this. Ready? Bishop e5.
Oh no!
Yeah,
no.
That's the. Look at that. And now you can't stop rook takes e4, which defends your bishop. Because now this is still winning, but the problem with it is the queen takes d6, and white actually, the position becomes a little more unclear. But if you just play bishop e5, it's frozen. Take that, Elsa. Look at that.
Oh, it's, this was a really hard one, and this was number, which one? Which number?
This was Hikaru solving number. Sorry, we'll pull it back. I think it was number 42. It was the the puzzle that Hans got wrong on number 42, but Hikaru solved it, so he was able to move past. But again, this is about as tough as it gets. Giving up the queen, having to find a subtle move in the middle of the combination, and the fact that even in the final position, it's not so clear. If he had to make one more move, Black may not find it. So, an impressive solving there by Hikaru. And yesterday when we had Hans Niemann on, or on Thursday when we had Hans Niemann on, Rulin, it was, we kind of discussed some of these tougher puzzles, and I think that he spends a lot of time trying to memorize. He goes through the library. But when he's faced with puzzles he hasn't seen, I think it's where the stronger players have their chance. I think there's no denying Hans Niemann is the favorite, and right now he still has a pretty good lead. But these types of amazingly tough puzzles, and seeing Hikaru be able to solve this is just absolutely mind-blowing. You know what else is mind-blowing?
Sorry?
You know what else is mind-blowing?
No.
The Tata Steel chess tournament every January, and it's going to be right here on Chess.com TV exclusively.
All right. Yeah, that is also something that you guys definitely need to check here on Chess.com.
You want to do commentary for a future Tata Steel?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you're a Dutchman, right?
I am.
I mean, they like you guys around there, somewhat. Half of you they try to get rid of, half of you they like.
Yeah, well, you know what Tata Steel also like? Chess.com, because actually Robert Hess is going to be a commentator for Tata Steel.
That's right. Well, we've had a contract with the Tata Steel the Tata Steel Company and their chess tournament for a few years, and we really like that event. Magnus Carlsen will be playing. Peter Lako is commentating with us this year, along with Sopoko Guramashvili, Fiona Steele-Antoni, and Robert Hess. So we've got a pretty good team there. Hope you guys watch the Tata Steel coverage right here on Chess.com. All right, the next event, the next match should get underway here in just seconds, and Hans still with a pretty good lead, 16 points. 3 rounds remaining. Going to be very difficult for Hikaru to shorten that lead, but got to start now if it's going to happen.
I had to laugh about Hikaru's facial expressions there, but yeah. So the reason why I actually brought up the East Coast and the West Coast is because Hikaru looks a bit sleepy to me, but like he just woke up or something. But that's just I'm not 100% sure. What are your thoughts on
that? On what exactly of East Coast versus West Coast?
Oh, well, I thought maybe Hikaru just woke up because it's a time difference. So.
Oh, no. I just woke up because of the time difference, and I'm exhausted. It's been several days in a row, 5 a.m. I like to wake up at the crack of noon normally.
Yeah. So I was thinking maybe some of the guys had to just woke up a little bit early than the others.
Yeah, no, in this case, I think they're very likely they're on the same time zone. I'm pretty sure Hikaru is at home in Florida. But yeah, pretty likely they're on the same schedule, if you will. But by the way, this is a very good pace for both of them. They are neck and neck, literally solving the same puzzle. This is just impressive. Hans is as focused as we've seen him. He knows that he doesn't want to keep that door open for Hikaru. For Hikaru, he knows this is his last chance. I think he's got to make a dent here. How big of a dent can he make?
Oh, he missed.
Hans misses the first one. Oop, Hikaru follows suit.
Yes, I'm so impressed by how they are playing. I mean, of course, Ray Robson took the cake so far with a 52 score at some point, but I'm amazed at how quickly they can find all these tough puzzles. It's mind blowing, as you said.
By the way, that puzzle they missed they both missed the same puzzle, which wasn't hard to see because they were solving at the exact time. But it's shows you how dead even this particular rush has been. They are deadlocked with Hans pulling away. Oh, right at the final stretch. Hikaru frustrated with that one. That was a swindler, as we call it.
Yeah. What's this one? Hikaru has a tough one. Once again, it's 90. What is the answer here? Okay, and now knight takes queen g6. Nice. Okay.
But
this is now their best score. This is their best score ever.
Hans,
think. Hikaru is the top scorer with 45, and Hans has the top.
Hans also. I didn't realize Hikaru also struck out. Hans struck out seconds before Hikaru did. And wow.
Yeah. So yeah, but Hikaru now has a really tough road ahead because the difference is now only larger, and there are not that many puzzle battles still on the agenda. So
well, we're going to take a quick look at at least the one puzzle before the next one gets underway of the one puzzle that they both swung and missed on. They both played the move rook e8 check here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But the move is queen h8 check. And after rook f8, only then rook e8, which leads to mate, or you win the rook.
Yeah.
But again, this is like instinctively you're in a rush, literally, and you're trying to find the fastest move, and you play rook e8, and it's no good.
Yeah, I guess they were both thinking king d7 and then rook e7 or something.
Trying to distract the rook from the queen.
Yeah, but simply king c8 or king c6, I guess.
And there's nothing but a trade.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tough one.
That's painful.
But
that's
45.
painful. They both missed that one, but even more painful for Hikaru. He ended up falling down by 2 in that particular rush. We can take a look at the other puzzles that were solved incorrectly here for Hikaru. This one right here, rook takes e5, is the correct move for white. The main point is that if rook takes if bishop takes e5, f7 is a problem. And if rook takes, you take f6, and you're overwhelming the queen from the back rank.
Yes.
Look at this, and it gets even harder. If h5, you have to find the move rook takes f7.
Oh, wow.
That is so crazy. In fact, even bishop takes f7 doesn't work because of king f8, and black is winning.
Yeah, this looks so tough.
These are like, if you lost this game, like you're headed to like the bar afterwards. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, like this would be like if you played rook takes f6, your opponent plays h5, and then you play bishop takes f7, and they put the king on f8, and you're like, how is white not winning in this position?
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. But you have to find the full combination, rook takes f7, and then rook d7 check. And just like that.
So, yeah,
that's
difficult.
The third and final puzzle was here. Knight g4 was the move, and after trade and knight takes f1, the winning move has to be rook g8.
Oh, there was a rook on a8? Oh.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, I was thinking,
stuff.
What the queen g5 is coming? What or queen g7 mate? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Rook g8. There's a rook on a8.
But we've got only 2 more rounds to go before they get started here in T-minus 90 seconds roughly. Let's remind you of what the players are playing for. In addition to the title of Puzzle Battle World Champion, we have cash prizes available in each round. Quarterfinals, $2,400 at stake, and the finals has $3K. Should be fun, I think, for guys like Hikaru Nakamura. It's piddly change, especially if you believe the tabloids and his net worth. We won't go into the hilarious stream, although you should go to twitch.tv/GMHikaru and follow the strongest chess player who streams on the planet over there. Twitch.tv/GMHikaru is where he regularly plays and engages with his subscribers. But anyway. Yeah. I think that's a pretty decent prize fund for Hans Niemann, though, at this stage of his career, especially for the time spent in.
Yeah, I can imagine for a 16-year-old, that's a lot of money.
Yep. Well, and heading into this round, Hikaru needs a big score, or it's mathematically pretty much clinched before the 10th round. So the players are going to get set to start here any moment, and we will have action.
Yeah. So Hikaru also saying things in the chat. So yeah, I'm more concerned about playing teenagers like Alireza, he's saying. So yeah, he's trolling a bit in the chat anyway. So, but Hans Niemann has this in the bag. All he needs to do is stay focused for 2 more puzzle battles, and then he goes on to the semifinals. So, but yeah, so what needs to happen for Hikaru is a big win, like something like a 10-point difference, and that has to happen 2 times. Very unlikely, I think, because Hans is really focused and playing, solving puzzles really quickly and really in a focused way. So I would be surprised to see that, but you never know. I mean, it could happen. So let's see.
Well, it's got to happen now.
It's gonna happen in what?
It's
In the
what?
mill? It's gonna happen. Sorry, I didn't hear you there.
It's now or never. It's together forever. We're meant to be. I don't know where we're going with this.
Oh, okay.
But right now we have got a 22-18 score for Hans Niemann. Again, the speed. We kept track. So far, the 2 fastest players in the several days we've done this, Rulin, have been Hans Niemann and Danya Naroditsky in terms of their consistency, reaching what seems to be at least 25 by the 2-minute mark. They've been able to do it pretty often, and it's been pretty amazing.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good start, yeah.
And it looks like Hans might be about to... Oh, right as I say that, I jinxed him. I was going to say, he might be about to put the nail in the coffin with a perfect run here at the end, but fails on number 30. But right back at it. He's at 32. Hikaru with 2 strikes.
Oh, no.
It's looking tougher and tougher that he can come back.
Rook D1, yeah, all right. Yeah. Yeah, so Hans really has this in the back, I think.
A 35 score looking pretty good. And both players with 2 strikes and 1 minute left, roughly.
Yeah, actually, so this we have been mentioning for quite some time, actually, during this quarterfinals, and that is that you've mentioned this a few times at least. So when you when you have the higher rating and you are the better player like Hikaru, then the tougher it gets, the better you usually are. But the statistic, I think it is a statistic that we've seen so far, is that the worst players on rating on paper are really good at solving the easier puzzles quicker. Mm-hmm. Is that really a statistic that has been confirmed?
I don't know. I mean, it's don't have the data on that. I mean, it's an interesting question. Right now, Hans has left the door open, I guess, for Hikaru to get a lead if he can solve these last. Looks like Hikaru fails on. Was that the same puzzle? They both missed this last puzzle that will quickly show before they start their last round, which we will begin here in just moments. Queen F5 is the move that both players played, but Bishop takes H7 and then Queen H3.
Oh, wow.
That's super tough because Queen F5, how is that wrong?
Rook E8 and the king runs.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I looked at, I think, the same thing they did. If you play E4, you haven't blocked the rook and it's still mate. And if you block the H file, it's still mate. So I just didn't realize Rook E8, and actually black is just fine.
Yeah, it's even better for black at the moment.
Wow. Bishop B7 had to be met by Bishop takes H7 and Queen H3. Both of them failed on this one, but unfortunately for Hikaru, that probably means there is no way for him to get enough space in this 10th and final round that we're going to start right now. This has been super exciting regardless. Hikaru Nakamura, Hans Niemann throwing down in round 10. I think we're seconds away from that momentarily. Make sure I'm following.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just actually, so Hans was actually in my stream a few times.
Hans was actually what?
Hans was also on my stream sometimes. So I'm also a streamer on Twitch, and I now see his username, and I recognize it.
Oh yeah,
actually, yeah, I recognize it. So
now you know you've played against him before.
I don't think we. Well, actually, maybe it's. Well, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe he knows. Well, that would be cool, really. That would be really cool for me. Well, anyway, yeah. So the last puzzle battle is going to start in a second now, and
just like that, it has.
Hans really needs to screw up. Badly will he not go to the semifinals here? So he
Okay,
probably
last
needs to just
rush of the day.
All right, so 14,
I was waiting to see which of us spoke first. I won.
I don't like silences.
I totally jinxed you. The silence was awkward, and I won.
Boy, you always win, Danny. It's if it's puzzle battle, if it's like staring.
If it's puzzle battle.
So yeah, Hans just continuing his streak, just taking the lead once again. I'm really interested in that statistic, though. If we could get that up somehow, about the earlier, the higher the rating. No, I mean the other way around. The lower the rating, the better you can solve the early puzzles. That would be fun to see if that's actually.
Well, it'd be interesting because you're kind of saying that they've seen the positions more. You're saying?
Maybe something like that, or they see, let's say, easier tactics quicker.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that the stronger players. So let's just say that I think it all just comes down to experience. The more tactics you've done, and the more puzzles you've solved, and even if the stronger players are getting past those problems faster, I think they've probably still seen more of them. Not just in terms of their chess career, like patterns they know, but also, I mean, Hans Niemann, frankly, probably spent an unhealthy amount of time doing puzzles. I mean, like he does a lot of puzzles, right? So I don't know. Didalo asks over there in the YouTube chat, yes, you can see, the players can see the other player's scores. If you haven't tried Puzzle Battle yourself, as of this moment forward, it is now a you problem. Head over to chess.com/puzzles/battle and make it happen, Captain. So yeah, the players can see the scores. They are aware of the stand. They also can see the overall match score too, of course. And they are informed by us as well. So a difficult day for Hikaru to ever lose a match like this on Chess.com might be, like I said, I think I've only been a part of 2 other matches that Hikaru came up on the losing side, and both of them involved Magnus Carlsen. So so there you go.
So wow, he got to 49.
Hans is super frustrated because he doesn't get 50 on his last run. He wanted to get 50 and he failed short.
Oh, wow,
that's pretty funny.
That is cool. I mean, I like the kid. I mean, he's not intimidated by Hikaru, and he's still getting frustrated, even though he won simply a match against one of the best chess players at the moment. So, wow, yeah, I'm really impressed by Hans. He has a bright future ahead in the chess.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's frustrated because he doesn't get 50 there at the last second. Kind of funny, but he'll have to forgive himself and move on. Hikaru Nakamura will get a chance for revenge to forget today's match when he throws down tomorrow against Nepomniachtchi in the Speed Chess Championship. But right here, right now, Hans Niemann punches his ticket into the semifinals. He shows why he is one of the best puzzle solvers in the world. And he joins Ray Robson as the first semifinalist on this Saturday. So there you go. When we come back, we will have an interview as well as a final set of thoughts here on the Puzzle Battle World Chess Championship quarterfinals. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in just a few moments. And we are back now with the first ever Puzzle Battles World Championship. Joined here with our second semifinalist of the day. He follows in Ray Robson's footsteps. International Master Hans Niemann, you punched your way in. I saw how frustrated with you on that last rush where you just fell short of 50. Tell us about that last puzzle where you were trying to play King G2. So you saw the answer, right?
No, after that I was just like, King G2 is the right answer, and I just laughing about how stupid that is.
Like, how often do you get 50? Like, is it once a day or?
Well, I think every 10 I should get 50 at least once, but today was really hard puzzles, and I actually was getting puzzles that I knew, and I just forgot them. So
yeah. Well, Hans, congratulations. Obviously, this was a highly anticipated matchup. You were going against the biggest star of the event, Hikaru Nakamura. How did it feel at a certain point in the match where you felt that you were able to recover? There was the one rush where Roland and I were talking about. Hikaru came out hot. You missed a couple, but you managed to gather yourself and still finish strong. I believe you put up a 47 in that one. How difficult is it going up against a guy with the pedigree that Hikaru has, even if it isn't puzzles, right? Obviously, it's in real chess, but also how were you able to keep your cool there as Hikaru was putting together some good rushes?
Well, I was actually able to, control my nerves quite well this heat. I wasn't really nervous. I felt like, the match was going to be pretty smooth. And at that moment, I guess I got a little bit nervous. But after I started out with like winning 3, I do remember that puzzle you're talking about. I mouse slipped and then I missed another one. I just had like some mental block where I got the puzzle wrong. But I think I just required, a little bit of restraint. And then the puzzles that I did get after that weren't too hard. So it was, I think it was pretty, it wasn't that hard to keep my cool.
So are you also satisfied with your overall score for this?
No, absolutely not. It's terrible. I'm not satisfied whatsoever. I think that if, tomorrow I'll probably play Jimis, and if I put up this score, I'm just going to get crushed.
Okay.
So today you didn't think was your best day overall?
No, I was thinking I had
you
pretty
actually
bad day.
scored a better average today than you did in the qualifier, but I'm sure you knew that. Today?
Yeah, well, the qualifier was just, I had 4 bad scores, but overall I got 50, 47, 47 in the start. So I think that was much better than today, and that I think it was a combination of having pretty tough puzzles today. That the answers were just.
So how do you prepare then? If you're going up against Jimis, obviously you guys are solving all these crazy puzzles on a regular basis, but you talked about working your way through the library, through the learning mode to try to push yourself. How do you prepare without revealing any of your secrets, how do you prepare for tomorrow's match, assuming you might play Jimis 9-8?
I think I'll just maybe go into learning mode a little bit. Maybe I'll do some puzzle rush, but I think there's not much I can do to prepare now. I don't have that much time, but, I could, literally just go into learning mode 24/7 until the match tomorrow. Maybe that'll help. But the libraries are a bit different. And I think I just need to work on my approach. I noticed that Ray Robson has the best approach in Puzzle Rush, taking his time. And my approach has been a little flawed because I've kind of had this idea that I should just go for it in these puzzles where I'm not completely sure, and it's kind of like a guessing game. But I think that taking that risk in the long run is not going to work out. So I think I'm going to, reevaluate the approach that I'm taking in a lot of situations against. But I also think that the match tomorrow, which I'm pretty sure will be against Jimis, will, should be close as long as I don't do as badly as I did today.
Okay, interesting. Well, you obviously were going up against Hikaru. Was there any moment at a certain point where you kind of appreciate? Are you just focused on the fact that it's puzzles and you kind of know you're the favorite because of your puzzle solving ability, or is there any kind of special nerves there going up against a legend like Nakamura?
I'd like to say yes because he's such a legend, but I guess in Puzzle Battle, I wasn't too nervous, and I think that's just because I've improved on managing my nerves throughout. But Hikaru's great at Puzzle Battle, but I still wasn't too nervous.
Right.
Would you then be more nervous if you played Hikaru in a normal classical game, or would you?
No, yeah. Then I'd start to be nervous. That's where Hikaru has got me outclassed, and it's not even close.
Right. Well, it's
Right.
interesting. It's interesting because I think the dynamic is just for all of us viewers, for the fans. I mean, we look at a situation like this, and it's obviously unique, right? You see players like Hikaru Nakamura, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, right? Guys that are 2,800, and then you look when you're breaking down, these puzzles into this format. And specialists. Obviously, you're a very strong player yourself, and still young and with a ton of potential. But as you said, right, Hikaru is the stronger player. And I think for the viewers, it's fascinating. Honestly, I think the whole thing is just super unique, and it's amazing to see what happens in this format when you guys are just solving puzzles with this short a time. So I think a lot of people, saw you as the favorite, but I think for those viewing and doing commentary, speaking for myself on this event for the first time, it's definitely interesting. It's unique to see how you guys are able to just work through these patterns so quickly and outcalculate the best players in the world,
Yeah, and I think there's a few misconceptions that should be kind of cleared up to explain why an IM like myself can do so well against, the top players in the world.
Right.
First of all, I think there's this misconception that, obviously all these super GMs can calculate very well, right? But Puzzle Rush requires a specific set of skills where basically your calculation that's going to be used over the game, over the board, which Hikaru, MVL, all those guys are amazing at, is not even close to the type of calculation that's being used in Puzzle Battle. Therefore, that skill isn't really appreciated in this setting. Also, another thing that should be noted is that first, like from 0 to 40, there's no memorization. It's just purely instinct and practice of Puzzle Rush. Therefore, that's why the people that have practiced more have the ability to get to 0 to 40 without making any mistakes and getting as fast as possible. And then from 40 and above, there's also this situation. The puzzles, no matter how good of a regular chess player you are, you have to solve them at an extremely fast speed. So obviously, if you have more time, let's say you extended it to 5 minutes, the top players would have would fare much better, right? Because there's more times when they actually have to use their chess skills. But when you're especially just trying to get to above 40, the super GMs do not have an advantage. It's the same, and it just takes a very specific skill set. So that's why it's very easy to think, okay, Hikaru should be crushing Hans, right? He's a super GM, but it just requires just a very specific skill set that you can learn and you can build up by practice, and then the memorization is just to add on. And honestly, I'm probably only getting like 5 to 7 puzzles per memorization, and from memorization from 40 to 45, I'd say maybe 1 or 2 of those, and other ones I'm just solving by pure instinct.
Right. Fascinating. Honestly, appreciate that insight. It really is. And I think what you said about the difference in calculation, I think is really interesting for people because it's underestimated that in an over-the-board game, yes, you're calculating tactics, like what makes Hikaru or MVL like such a beast, right? But they're also considering, strategic concepts in the middle of it, right? Or that, they're trying to evaluate an end game. It's a different type of skill set that's coming in. That's a different, like you said, it's an overall form of calculation. Like the specific skill set that is solving these puzzles is a little more brute force, right? In terms of what you're considering, and it kind of breaks it down to a more pure kind of just a hardcore knockout tactic versus an overall kind of strategic theme. Hans, we also know you're a pretty active streamer. In fact, we're rating you right after this. So what are you going to give the people over on your channel today?
I don't know. I think I might play some more Puzzle Battle. Maybe Jimis wants to play some.
Oh yeah,
Puzzle Battle.
throw down.
I think he was on the stream earlier. Maybe I'll get a prelude to the match. Maybe I'll play some game. Maybe Hikaru wants to play some Bullet. I'd be happy to play him some Bullet if you'd like.
He might be looking for that. So, Roland, if you have any final questions, go for it. Otherwise, we'll bid Hans adieu.
Yeah, well, actually, before we got on this call, we talked a little bit about how you lived in the Netherlands. So it's fun to learn about that. Of course, I also lived in the same city as you. So what did you think about Utrecht, the city in general? Did you like it or not?
Oh, I love Netherlands. when I'm old and I want to just relax somewhere, I'm going to go to Netherlands, just bike everywhere. Netherlands, when I was there, I thought it was terrible, but when I came back to the US, I realized how amazing it was.
Okay.
I think Netherlands is basically one of the best places you can live. It's just it's very nice, calm, and they have bike lanes everywhere. So it's just very, very convenient and relaxing. And there's just very safe too.
All right. Thank you for indulging me on that question. So, yeah, thank you for being. Congratulations also on the winning, of course, the match, and yeah, we'll see you, of course, in the semifinals. Good luck there.
Congrats, Hans. Good luck in the semifinals and beyond.
Thank you.
Yep. And there we have it. Hans Niemann, the second semifinalist, as we said. Moving on. We don't know yet whether he'll be playing Gymnast 9-8 tomorrow, because Gymnast 9-8, that being Dimitris Latopoulos, has to take on Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, and we are still working on rescheduling that. But the one quarterfinal we have officially rescheduled will be tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific time. You can see it right here in front of you. Alireza Firouzja versus Christopher Yu. Should be exciting. I think it's pretty close to a coin flip, if I'm honest. But I thought that about today, and Hans proved and gave some pretty good insight there in that interview as far as why he's the puzzle solver that he is. So let's remind you of the scores that happened here. Ray Robson took down Sam Sevian. It was a very, 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 very clean rush there through 10 rounds. Hans Niemann, Hikaru Nakamura, closer, but still not close enough. Hans Niemann, International Master, defeats Super Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura and moves on to the semifinals. So that's where our bracket is as of right now. That's how it looks. And okay, well, I mean, as Hans said, he considers Gymnast a favorite against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. I guess at this point, hard to disagree with that. And people should go check him out on his stream. Rulin, as you and I say goodbye here, I think he should go check it out.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stop by at his stream after we're done here. So yeah,
maybe you'll log on and play Hans in some blitz over there. You know,
we might. I also had another thing planned after this, unfortunately. But before that, I'm definitely going to stop by at his stream. I'm curious how he's doing that. So yeah, do check him out, of course. And I was so happy that he gave such insights on this puzzle battle. He really gave some clear view of how to approach these puzzle battles. That it's totally different from calculation in normal games. He basically agreed to what we already thought when we were discussing this, And he also said that when Super Grandmasters got more time, like 5 minutes, they also have more chances of beating players like Hans Niemann here. And he also said this was one of the key things. Like before puzzle 40, Super Grandmasters don't have an advantage. That was one of the key things that I took from his explanation there. And yeah, it all makes sense to me. I mean, that approach was really insightful, and that is probably why he is now in semifinals in the top 4 of the world.
Yeah,
at the moment.
I agree, and it seems to be clear, right? The proof is in the pudding, and so, whether it made sense or not before the match, it certainly makes a lot more sense afterwards as explanation. So anyway, we'll shout out to everybody that has tuned in today. We appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. We are looking forward to tomorrow, where we've got so much going on. We've got more puzzle battles. We've got Speed Chess Championships. We've got lots to go off. So for my partner, Royland Preussers, for the team here at Chess.com, everybody working hard. Thank you, everybody. Stick around. Go and check out Hans Niemann as he's streaming away. And we'll see you tomorrow on Chess.com.